Okay, everyone. Thanks for hanging in there, waiting for us. Yeah, a little bit later than scheduled flight today, Gary.
There's a bear in the landing gear.
Waiting for us. Like
Davy
we were
Crockett
all
had to
sitting
fight it
here.
out of there.
Wait.
Waiting for me. Waiting for me. It's the
and
royal us,
it was
right?
his. It
Waiting
was,
for me to get my bear out of the landing gear, Ray. Get
and
your
you know
story
what? It
straight.
was a hair. There was a hair snafu, and that's why he's late.
Ray got
Yeah.
his hair stuck in a fan.
I hold my hands up. It was me. I left my passport in. I left my passport in the car park.
Well, listen. As with Arsenal, this is an Arsenal podcast. As with Arsenal, there's numerous reasons why Arsenal are not playing really well right now, and there's numerous reasons why
They
we.
got their captain showing up late like you.
True, Tony. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Were you
Listen.
having car problems, Ray?
No, it was just delayed with the kid, and you know,
What
getting
about the hair? You mentioned the hair.
the
Tell
hair.
us about your hair, Ray.
The hair doesn't take long, Tony, at all. Doesn't take
You
long.
said the
That was
hair
the
was the reason.
that was the first thing you said.
You said it was my hair. You tell us about Menudo. Now you want to tell us about your
That
hair.
was the last thing I
We
did.
know about your Menudo notebook. Tell us about your hair, Ray.
All right, Tony. People are not here for that. They're here for Arsenal, right? So introductions tonight.
Arsenal lost. End of story.
Myself, Ray here. Tony up top. How are you, Tony?
I'm fine. Kind of been reflecting about what I was doing this time last year.
Yes.
This time last year, I was sitting in a hospital bed, being told that my whole fourth toe was gone, that I likely need a below the knee amputation or at least several surgeries on my foot. I chose the below the knee amputation. A lot better for it. Thankful I'm here. A lot stronger, a lot better person. Just not as much money now.
Yeah, and listen, I didn't have time, but I was going to lift some of the comments that you left on your Twitter profile. If anyone has a chance, go check out Tony's Twitter profile. It's right there, and some very, very good words for the season that we're having. Not only like not talking about football here, but family, friends, and let's be reflective and kind to each other during this festive time that we're in here. So I'm going to delay getting to Brownie because I know he's got something going on with that green screen. But Gary, what's going on with your green screen, Gary? What have you got?
I believe, if I'm correct, this is Woolwich. Woolwich, is that station? If I
Woolwich.
recall,
Woolwich.
Woolwich, yes.
It's a
Station.
silent W.
Oh, okay. Woolwich station. Yes. I'd like to say hello
Gary's been
to
away from the UK too long.
BX Gunner and Ray Anthony have joined us to start. We'll see hopefully some more friends that will join us later on. Welcome to the show. Yes, this is the Arsenal show. I still always say I don't know why I'm smiling. I shouldn't be. I should be crying. But you guys don't like it when I'm crying and when I'm
I
mad.
don't know how you made it through Monday's show, Gary.
I don't know. And
Yeah.
it's just getting better every day. I mean, the funniest thing I saw today, and this is, you know what, 7th place. I don't want it. Did you see what that dog did at the game?
Shit on the stadium, on the pitch.
Yeah. In Serbia.
That's what you get in the Europa Conference League. So now I don't know if that's worse than relegation, but that's close. If you're playing a game and all of a sudden the dog's like, you know what, this is crap, and you know what, I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and did it right there.
As a kid growing up in Ireland, teenager, I used to play football on a field, a small town in Kildare, rural area, and you know what? Most of the time there was sheep and cows on that field.
Don't tell us what you did with the sheep, Ray.
Hey, leave a sheep jokes to me, Ray. Leave a sheep jokes to me.
Yeah. Well, Gary, is that Woolwich? Gary, is a nod to Woolwich Arsenal?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, Brownie, what are you doing with the Arsenal logo hanging over that thing? Come on.
You know, I wanted to back up my friend Gary. Normally Gary is so grumpy and so anti Arteta and so anti bloody tactics and everything. I just thought, look, he needs a bit of support on these shows. Everyone
Is that
seems to be
is that
ganging
a
up on him.
boomerang you're throwing in the trash?
so
Is that a
so
boomerang?
it's basically
Is it a boomerang?
chucking Arsenal in the bin at the moment because
Right.
they're not playing too good, are they? You guys ain't playing too
You
good.
know,
Is
well,
that our strike force there? Our strike
one
force
man,
you're throwing in the bin?
one man's trash could be another man's treasure, and come Saturday, we could all be feeling just a little bit different, just a little bit different about Arsenal.
Well,
Gary's not convinced. I always look at Gary.
you know
He's
what?
not convinced.
I don't know what you mean by that because we could be feeling worse or worse depending on what happens.
Wins,
Worse, or worstest?
Yeah.
wins cure all, Gary. Wins cure all.
All they or they just prolong it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a,
they
We
it's a,
either
it's a,
win or
it's a,
lose. We never draw
it's a
hardly
band
anymore.
it's a
right?
band-aid on a dam.
yeah.
So
You know what? I want to start off probably with the thought. Actually, one thing I want to start off with first is condolences to Ian Wright. On Sunday, he was about to go on live, on a sports stadium. He got the news about his mom passing away. So, first of all of us, from all of us here, condolences to Ian Wright and his family. A legend from the club, and losing your mom is a tough thing. I haven't, but it's going to be tough. It's a tough thing. Anyone else want to throw in?
yeah,
Karen?
no, just say send our condolences. Yeah, be strong. Yeah, I don't have much words to say there, but
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Just we send our condolences on to you, Ian Wright. Tony is passing out beverages. I have 2 coffees, two beers, and 2 waters for myself at the ready. Tony was in early tonight. Rainbow, were you here first, Tony? Rainbow
I think he was.
arriving on a unicorn shortly. Yeah, I got a little bit delayed. Good evening, chat room from Gary. A bear has crawled into the landing gear, so while Davy Crocker wrestles the bear out of the plane, please go grab some beverages. DX Spinner
That
has been
Tony
in.
guy was busy in a chat room.
Great to see BX Gunner in here. Not Ray Lopez, Ray Anderson. I know Ray Lopez. Tony, I've got the Puerto Rican eggnog. Gary, right.
I want some of that. I've heard it's really good. I want a bottle. So
What is it? What is eggnog?
You're asking the wrong
Very
person.
crappy tasting shit.
I don't know.
If you ask
I don't
me,
know, but it's supposed to have alcohol. Hopefully, whatever he has, it's got the alcohol in it. So
it's like real thick milk and eggs, basically. I think.
Yeah. And we're alive. Eventually, all good things do start, BX Gunner. So thanks for being with us. Tony is better. I'm over both the bronchitis and the bad reaction to the booster shots. So I can't be madder than I've been at times over the years, but still, Arteta needs to go. If he can't turn it around, so there's that proviso, Gary. If he can't turn around, and just before talking about Ian Wright and condolences to his family again, I wanted to mention, Gary, we can't get into an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deal where we win 2 games, we lose 2 games. The fan base is happy, the fan base is divided. We can't get into this situation.
Already there.
you know what? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. I've been upset. I've been not upset, but I've been disappointed in the performances, and I've said that over and over again. 10 games in a row still didn't really impress me enough, because as soon as there was teams that might have answers for what we can and cannot do, we're going to be in trouble, and that's exactly what happened,
I
right?
think there's only been 2 games all season Gary's been satisfied with. Same
Yeah.
2 I was. Other than that,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm kind of woeful against.
yeah. So I mean, I know it
Bottom
sounds like we are, we don't like winning, but that we do like winning. But when we see something that doesn't really is sustainable, right? Then you have these games where you're like, how did you lose that? And it's like, well, it was the same in those other matches. We were just lucky enough to get the points, or the team we're playing were just worse, or having a bad day. You know, Brighton was having a bad day when we drew with them. On a good day, they beat us soundly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the North London derby could have gone a totally different direction if there was like another 30 minutes left in that match, the way it was
How
going.
many?
So for me, it's I like this. I like to look at it and go, I like this style of play. I think we can win with this. Maybe we're missing some pieces, and that's why we're not getting the results we want. But I can see something over and over and over again, and know that if they improve that piece there, if they improve that spot there, if this player has a really good day, we'll be better for it. So that's how I've looked at it, and I've never been swayed just because we're on a non-losing streak. Just because when teams suss you out, guess what? Managers lose their jobs and you're all upset. You know,
Mhm.
Everton played for 90 minutes. That was the big difference in that match. They played for 90 minutes. We
The
didn't.
big difference for me, Gary, was Everton knew if they got a little bit physical and got into Arsenal, that they would eventually wear us down, and we wouldn't want to be in the fight. You know.
Well, Burnley did that to us last year, and I thought we learned from it this year when we played them because they tried it and it didn't work. And maybe we forgot when we played Everton
Yeah.
just because they're different because they're dressed in blue.
We reverted back to some things that we saw last season on Monday night. You know. Um, okay, Adam, Mr. Brownie, let's see what have you got to say about this state of
Um,
Arsenal right now?
I,
Is it
just
temporary or is it
from
permanent?
an outsider looking in, guys, right? 3 points really. Um, first of all, why are Arsenal so inconsistent? I know that you do get inconsistent performances, when you do play young players, but it's alarming that all of a sudden you can switch off. Really bad. It's not just one or two bad performances. It's 8, 9, 10 bad performances on a Also has to be said, had it not been for Ramsdale's fantastic saves throughout this part of the season, how many less points would Arsenal have now?
Mhm.
And another thing, you have to think whether, and me and Tony were the only two on YouTube who said, "Do not give Aubameyang another contract." Me and Tony, we could see the future. We could probably give you the lottery numbers for Saturday night if you wanted to. Yeah.
Are there two broken clocks?
Okay, put it in the private chat for me, please. And yeah,
but,
six
but,
numbers.
but my point being is that, are we now seeing Ozil Mark II with Aubameyang?
You know what? You aren't, because Aubameyang is nowhere close to as far as media savvy as Ozil is. So he's not going to actually get out there and, at least I haven't seen it yet. I don't expect to see it either. See him get out there
Yeah.
and post things, when he's not playing or when he's out of a match and stuff like that, which is what we saw from Ozil, which
Mm.
he might have he had probably some good reasons for that as well, from the way the team treated him. But I don't see that from him. He seems a little bit more. I want to be friends with most everybody here. Where Ozil was just happy to just drop everybody essentially, and do his own thing. So yeah, I don't think it'll be the same. Um, it's as much as we definitely complain about Arteta because that's the easiest fix. The players aren't helping him, and the players aren't helping themselves. So
Yeah.
it's a everybody gets blamed, but
He signed and extended most of them.
no, I
Like,
get that, but it's just there is the easiest fix can't be to replace all of the players, right? You're not going
Yeah.
to do that. So
Going on
we got
that point, Gary.
quality.
Going on that point, I'm I'm of a generation. I know other people in the chat and on the panel. I don't like one of the things modern day football. I don't like this kind of. It's easier now for players to push managers under the bus, and I don't like it. That's one of that that is up there with diving for me, basically. Um, and the clubs will always take the player's side because the player is a more expensive asset for the club, and
Yeah.
I don't like it. I really don't like it, and I'm seeing it with my team Cardiff. I'm seeing it with some of the players. Some of these players of some of these clubs now. I've already pushed 2, 3, 4 managers and under the bus, and it can't all 2, 3, 4 managers can't all be wrong. They all can't all
Yeah.
be dead, really.
Tony,
And that's really what I don't like about modern day football. You can see that at Arsenal.
Tony.
As I say, you can hand anyone a F1 car. That doesn't mean they're going to be go flying up and down the track with it. Arteta isn't the right person to lead this team. We got 6 quality players that they do, and Arteta picked out, but he doesn't know how to get the best out of them. He's too stubborn with the system. He doesn't fit what we need to be doing. He's not getting the most out of these players. You had Arteta, Lacazette screaming at the 20th minute to tell his players to go forward and play faster, and none of them listened to him. He had the captain's armband on. So, yeah, it is some of the players' fault, but it's not taught into him by Arteta. The culture has to change at the team. Many players have said it. Odegaard said it, and it has to.
Isn't that what
That's why we
Arteta?
need somebody like Vieira that have balls.
Isn't that
That's why I
something?
wanted to see Simone to start with, somebody to change
But
the
Tony,
culture of the club.
Tony, you talk
Arteta
about the
hasn't changed
culture.
the culture.
You talk
We
about
know
the
better,
culture of the
right?
club. Isn't that something that Arteta has started to do?
No.
Started to do. He
You mean
hasn't got
this? You
rid of
mean this
troublemakers.
semester? You mean this semester? You mean this year? This season? Is that
The
what you
last
mean?
2 years, for the last 2 years, he's been trying to change the culture of the club.
No,
He's
he
been
hasn't.
moving.
It's the same Arsenal, Ray.
What did you see in the first?
Are you
I guess
seeing 11
what did you
guys
see in the
play for the
first six
badge every
months
game, Ray?
that would lead you to believe you saw a culture change
First 6 months of
of his career?
of his reign.
Yeah.
So Ozil, who was part of the main clique, was ostracized and distanced from the team
That was
as
from the board, Ray.
Arteta
They started
utilized the
before
senior
Arteta came in.
players to galvanize them toward, whether you like it or not, 6 games. You have to win 6 games to win the FA Cup, and he did that using players like David Luiz, using players like Mustafi, even getting a tune out of Mustafi for 6 months. I'm not saying it was sustainable, but that's what happened, and he started to change the culture of the club.
And then what happened in the next full season that he had? Because it looked like we reverted back, at least from the play on the field. I don't know, the culture that you're talking about is probably back in the locker room, which then does show itself up on the field. But as far as what I saw in the field, it didn't look much different. Last season, especially during that two month run where I don't think we won, right, or 6 week run
Yeah,
we didn't
around
win at
around
all.
about this time last year, we were on a really bad run,
Yeah.
and you know, so Brownie, what do you see from the outside?
Um,
To Gary's
I,
point,
I, I, I see. I see. FFP, slowing down the amount of ins and outs that need to be done at Arsenal. And it's not just Arsenal; it's many other clubs. But I think when people said, look, trust the process, I think gets taken out of context a lot. And the reason I say that is because I think what they meant at the time is that they need quite a number of transfer windows because of the FFP kind of ruling. They can't ship 10 out and 10 in. And I think that was what was meant by that phrase, trust the process, because I think they want to create, and we are starting to see it now. They want to create kind of a production line from the youth, the under 23s, coming into the first team, and they want to see that production line start, going at a fair pace. And sometimes you may have an older player who's been brought in by previous managers or previous regimes who are stopping that production line. And I just think maybe we're just waiting for either a natural end of these older players' contracts so they can finally move on. Because they can't move on at the moment because they earn so much money at Arsenal. You're never going to get a buyer for some of these players. And I think I think that's what, and that is why they are giving Arteta so much time compared to previous managers or other managers or other clubs. I don't know if you guys would agree with that.
I hear it, but then the first thing that they did in his first window was they did, they made some really big deals to three older players, Willian,
Yeah,
Luis,
no, I agree.
and Aubameyang, all in that same window. They brought in players that, one, Willian was sitting on the bench when we played in that FA Cup. I don't know if that was a sign as to what was to come. Luis, I still go back and say Luis was a really good pickup. I mean, he did have his
Yeah,
flaws,
I agree.
but I believe from what I saw on the pitch, he did things that Arteta wanted, allowing us to play out from the back and all that kind of stuff. He could clear a ball. He did have his bad days, which I think is part one is probably for the players around him. Two, he's a little older, so he might be out of position in some cases. But in general, I think the things that we wanted to get out of him, we did. Willian, we didn't get anything out of him.
Yeah, but we
Aubameyang,
got too many red cards and all
we've
that
got.
nonsense out
He
of him,
didn't get
too.
too many red cards. Come on, stop that.
He got
That's not.
3.
He got red cards.
He,
Yeah,
he
but you know
got
what?
he got enough.
I can wash those red cards away from everything else that he did.
Yes.
I can't do that for any other player.
With
Other
a
players-
Aubameyang,
cost us a
Look at
game.
all the other players that get red
Each
cards
one
in
cost
Arteta's
us-
range.
Tony,
You-
we'll go to you in
No,
a second. Tony.
you can't. I'll take the way he played because I wouldn't have Gabriel if he wasn't playing. I wouldn't have the Gabriel we see now. That's for sure. So there's certain things I'll take the red cards if I'm going to get everything else that I got from him. He backed it up more than anybody else. What'd you get for Aubameyang? Nothing. What did you get for Willian? Nothing. Right? They let him go
with
because
Aubameyang, Gary,
yeah.
right?
Let's
And I just wonder. We all
Well,
know.
Stuck in a car park
Hold
somewhere,
on.
Brownie.
hold on a second, Brownie. We'll
Sorry.
get Tony in because
Yeah.
rather
Sorry, man. Sorry, I
rather
don't.
than Tony butting in, I want to give him some structure and teach him the right ways to do things. The ex-Skiller,
sorry.
the
I
ex-Skiller
know,
is
well,
loving. He's
Right,
loving this Tony.
if I don't interrupt, I don't get any words
That's
in.
why
You know
I'm
what, that's Ray's fault.
That's why I'm cutting Brownie off right now. Tony,
Yeah.
I agree with Gary. David Luiz showed leadership to this team. This podcast is titled "A Failure of Leadership." We're not seeing it on the field. We haven't adequately.
He had 3
Hold on.
red cards last season.
We haven't adequately replaced David Luiz's leadership in this team today. Yes, David Luiz would get sent off 3 times a season, but he gave us leadership and structure. He was able to maneuver players on the field. We're not seeing that today in this team. Go ahead, Tony.
That's 9 points. That would have put us in Europa. Instead, we're playing once a week, stuck in the Premier League, not capitalizing on it. We heard from years and years and years from the fans that they're tired of a Champions League, wanted to be out of it, because we'd win the league. Now we're going to be satisfied if we end up in 6th place, the final Europa spot. The
Do you
fans have
see?
lowered the bar. There's no excuse for us not being in the top 4 right now. We played easy teams. We should have won the first week, even if we did have players missing because of COVID. We should have won that game. We got lucky versus Palace. There's lots of luck involved where we're at.
Do you,
We
Tony?
should
Do
be
you see?
closer to 12th than we are 4. We're at 7th.
Tony,
There should be a
do
few
you
more
see
spots.
leadership? Do you see leadership on this field now?
I seen Lacazette yelling at the players, telling them
Is
what
that
to do.
leadership?
He was using leadership. He was pointing up the pitch, saying, "Hurry up, play faster." But
And
no
is the
telling what
rest?
the barking Chihuahua
Is the
in the
rest
hotel
of the
was telling
team?
him to do.
Is the rest of the team listening to him?
I don't think they listen to anybody. It's 11 individuals, except for the back 5. They play solid. Everybody else is a man for themselves. You don't know what Party's going to do. You don't know what Zapka's going to do. You definitely don't know what Uba's going to do. You don't know where Lacazette's going to be playing. You don't know if he's going to be a 10, a false 8, a 9. You don't know what role he's going to be given. Pepe can't shoot with 1 foot. You just, Ray, it's a shit show.
Ray Anderson said Louise was a good boy. Bye. Not all great, but a good bye. Good evening from Gotham City. Stan the Man is here. The red card against Wolves, Tony, was not a stupid decision by the ref and VAR. Yeah. I think we've seen that given, not given to other teams, Gary.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think anybody thought that was a red card. Even Tony, I don't believe, thought that was a red
I
card.
thought it was a clumsy challenge. I didn't think he should have made the challenge.
Did you think it was a red card?
Did I think it was a slop? He was sloppy.
You didn't.
Yes
it's a
or
yes
no?
or no. It's a yes or no question, buddy.
Come on.
To me, it's not a red card, but by the law, it was a red card.
Okay, that's what I. That's exactly
By
what
the law, it is a red card.
90% of the people in football didn't think that was a red card.
By the law, it is a red card.
Yeah,
Did it
they
look
did.
like a red card? No.
For once,
it was.
they actually supposedly looked at the rule book and followed it. Right, for once, right? They don't do it for everything else because they don't look at VAR.
By the law, it is a red card.
But you didn't think it was, so that's kind of what I was getting at. No,
Yeah.
you didn't think it was a red. A lot of people didn't think it was a red, especially what they've seen in the past when even worse challenges, come in like that. I don't think his red cards are the sole reason why we didn't. It contributed just like everybody else contributed last season, right? We probably had many a game where we missed chances, many games where we gave up. We just fell asleep at the wheel. But I don't think that was the case I think everybody contributed, Louise as well.
Mhm.
But I think it was just once again, our number one striker had a down year. The 8 goals, I think it was 8 goals, if I recall. I think I've heard Kevin Campbell talk about this. He's like,
8 goals
typically there were like 8 goals that he probably could have scored, and those 8 goals are also the difference in the whatever 4 to 6 points that we needed to get into European spots. So I think everybody had a hand in this one as far as keeping us out of Europe.
And Gary, I think I said to you maybe yesterday, since Aubameyang signed that contract last season, it's approximately 42 games ago, he's scored approximately 13 goals. Lacazette has scored approximately 12 goals in that time. And that is a full season for both of your strikers, not even to hit 15 goals. It's more than a
not
season.
Starting much, Ray.
Yeah, I know. But when he has the chances, how many shots is I understand he's had 5 shots on target all season.
He's been playing as a 10, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, Lacazette might not be a good comparison, but definitely Aubameyang has been playing in positions to score, all right? And you expect that from him. I mean, I think we liked Lacazette when he came in, and that had nothing to do with his scoring. It had to do with mostly his leadership, his ability to hold the ball up and stuff like that, which he's not even able to do that now.
You know what happened
Right.
when Lacazette came in with Team Ray? We started winning.
Yeah. But I think we really missed the Mill Smith role on Monday night. But listen, we'll get into that. How many goals has Oba missed this season? Easily 3 goals for me. And you give him
Easily
3.
three?
Easily 3.
Ray, I can think of 15.
I don't
Clear,
think. Okay, all
clear,
right,
thanks.
Tony, what is in your glass?
There's
You're
15,
telling me,
Gary.
you're telling me that Aubameyang
He's
is going to be
missed 2 or
joined.
3 every fucking game.
He's going to be up there with Mo Salah this
Did
season.
you
I
see
don't
the
think
one he
so.
missed
I
at
mean,
the end of this game that should
I
have
know you
tied
don't
the
like
game?
him, but that's kind of a stretch, though.
Regarding
Ray.
Aubameyang,
Ray,
regarding Aubameyang, right?
Brownie, let me speak first.
Okay, sorry,
Let
mate.
me
Go
ask
ahead.
Ray a question. Ray, should he bury the goal in the 93rd minute?
He should have, yes.
Did he?
No.
Did he kick it further right than he was?
Uh,
He kicked it further away from the goal
he
than he
kicked it
was.
left. Yeah, he kicked it left.
He kicked it right, wasn't it?
He missed left.
Well, whatever fucking direction. I don't care. He missed it by a mile. It went wider.
It's Tony logic today, people.
Tony was
So
looking in
we're
the
sorry. We're
Too
sorry.
much coffee for Tony. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's in that coffee
He
because
saw it in the mirror.
it's probably got a little bit of
Um,
Irish coffee in there. It's probably
Back
definitely
to Brownie.
not
Brownie was
straight beans.
Brownie was
man.
to make a point. Sorry, Brownie.
Yeah, no, I listen, because me and Tony were always on a button on this issue. More and more, because more and more now with social media has become a big kind of tool on how clubs kind of operate, really. And we know, because Arteta was in so much pressure, you already mentioned 12 months ago, because you were in a real barren spell of not winning for ages. I am convinced that they give him a new contract just to appease Arsenal fans, and not because of his performances or anything to do with.
Yeah. I'll
I'm
go along
convinced
with
of
that.
it.
Yeah. Well, at the time, Brownie, he won the FA Cup. He scored in the Community Shield, and he scored a similar goal against Fulham.
Yeah, but he was losing his pace straight. He was losing his pace for a few months before. And Aubameyang's game has always been on pace. And you could tell that he was losing a yard of pace a few months before that contract was even put on the table to him. And it should never have been given. But, can you imagine? We all know what Arsenal fans are like on social media. Can you imagine the uproar if they didn't offer him a contract? It would have been great. And I think business-wise, I even think it probably went over Arteta's head in giving him a contract.
Mm.
I don't think Arteta would have given him a contract if it was solely up to him.
Why up his pay by $100,000 during COVID? An aging 31-year-old striker that is ready to hit past his prime. It was never that work.
Yeah. Okay. Ray Anderson
Yeah.
said by the law wasn't some of Everton's players deserved of a yellow or red. We will get into that.
Clean challenges, nothing wrong with them.
Very soon. But Gary, go ahead and make your point more.
I was just going to say the reason why I was at least supportive of the Aubameyang contract is because I figured they realized that they needed, if they were going to sign him, that meant they were going to at least create an environment where he would be able to succeed, because that's a lot of money to put into a player, and then turn around and go, you know what, the way that you've been performing is going to have to change. You're 30 years old now, but you know what, all that stuff that you did for the last 15, 20 years, it's going to change now, because we have a different way of playing here. And I don't think that worked. You don't put that much money into a player, especially at Arsenal, the way we are financially strapped, and then go, you know what, I'm going to need you to play like Saka and Emil Sufro. I need you to play 110% all game. I'm going to need you to, track back and do all these things that could potentially take away from your strengths.
Mhm.
And some people say, you know what, he should be able to overcome that. I don't think he can. We've seen it.
It's
We've
like that
seen he can.
phrase: "You can't teach old dog new tricks."
You can't teach him all tricks, but you know what? At
Okay.
some point, he can't do those tricks, and he can't do the extra stuff anymore. He can only do his own tricks. And he. I think it's a trickle down effect that now it's in his head. I mean, now it's in his head.
Mm.
It's one of those things where you miss a penalty kick, and then you take
Yeah.
it, and every time you take a penalty kick, you overcompensate. Your mind's not right. You don't have the confidence, and you can see it in the shots because, I mean, goalkeeper is basically catching it with his stomach. That means you were way off, right?
Man,
You know,
Gary, if only he had a couple of tap ins to get him going. You know what I mean?
but he's got to
If
be
he
in
had
position
those
for that,
tap
and he
ins,
can't do that in
He
this
had
in
a
this
hat
game.
trick, and where'd he go since then?
A hat trick against like what
I
the under
trick of
23s? Come on, that's not even work. Come
I'm
on.
saying,
West
what's
Brom.
happened to him since then?
That's
West
the
Brom.
under
Everybody say,
20.
"Oh, he's
Does he
on
get to play
form."
the under 23s for the city team? Because
Well,
that's the
he's
only way
not
he's going to get a hat trick
Uh,
again.
yeah.
I agree
BX
with you,
Kenner,
Gary.
this is telling these are not the future. Oba is not the future. Laka is not the future. It seems like Pepe is not going to be the future. I don't know about Martinelli, but none of these are featured in the new merchandise appearance. And this club, Gary, you put Saka out wearing a retro kit and holding a puppy.
I didn't get that at all. I don't get that at all. I mean, I why is he holding the puppy? I don't
Selling
get that.
shirts.
Yeah, I
I
got
don't.
one supporter. I got one supporter.
He's the darling. He's the darling of Arsenal right now.
You know what? Like I said, some like you said, if the Ozil thing wasn't probably was more of a board and ownership issue, and then, it was probably marketing issue more than anything. We can't sell any jerseys now. Like
There
Ozil,
we
you
go.
put Ozil on the back of a shirt, everybody buys
Holidays,
it,
Gary.
right? Now they don't like the stigma on it. I,
Holidays, a puppy for a gift. And
We
listen,
knew
one
it
thing I
every
would
season.
say,
I don't know why people make a big deal out of it.
one thing I do want to say, if you're thinking about buying a puppy for Christmas, it's got to be a puppy for a lifetime. It's not.
Yeah,
Got
make sure it
to
doesn't go anywhere near football fields in Belgrade. Okay.
be yeah. Gary, the problem we have is we've got, of course, aging strikers, and we have young strikers, and we've got nothing in the middle. This is poor planning.
we knew
Uh,
this. How many? I've been saying this. I've been ringing this bell for years now. The age dynamic, the age profile at Arsenal was all wrong. Everybody in that middle 20 years old range, none of them, none of them none of them are worthy of a start. Right? The only one that probably was probably Leno. Right? Otherwise, everybody else has not actually performed. You look at the lineup now. Anybody over like 24? Nah.
Pepe.
Like I said, anybody over 24, nah, it's not working. So
Yeah.
either it's Arteta because it's not working, or they don't have it anymore. All right, it's one of those. I mean, like right now, when I look at it, everybody over 24. Let's see here, Maitland Niles plays has a really good game. Can't play again. Tierney, 20. Oh, Tierney's over 24 now. I think he's been good, but Tavares has shown, you know what, he can cover for him if need be, and he'll get better, hopefully. All right. Holding, haven't seen him in like what months. Pepe, haven't seen him in months. Bellerin, another country. Chambers, absent, not seen again. Marie, Lukaku, put him in. He's lost. Last seen with, last seen ducking from Lukaku's elbow. Haven't seen again. You know.
Yeah. But we don't want their center
We
backs.
don't know
We
where
do have
Cedric's at.
Gabriel and White.
Kolasinac, not. Partey,
Cedric, Mari.
the Partey in the Atletico, haven't seen him, right?
Yeah.
Granit Xhaka comes back. I don't think we want to see him anymore. El Neni, he's not a starter, right? Leto, he'll probably never play again unless there's an injury, and now he's injured, so he's out. Cedric, when's the last time we saw him play? Lacazette and Aubameyang finish it up. You know, they're not providing. We none of all those players, none of them are worthy of a start. But we have no choice.
Lukaku.
No choice. We have to play some of them. All right.
Lukaku still has him in his back pockets. That's right. Problem, but this is what we wanted, right? We wanted a steady lineup of players.
No. We wanted a good lineup. We didn't want a steady lineup like a crap is still a crap lineup. That's not what we wanted.
A steady lineup in the back five.
No, we wanted 11 players, Tony.
Come on, we had a revolving door.
We wanted 11. We wanted 11. Brownie, what do you see from the outside? Arteta is clearly making mistakes with certain players. He's disciplining some of them by not playing. He's told Ainsley Maitland-Niles he can come back. He gets one game. He plays really, really well, I think, against Watford. One of the man in the matches, and we don't see him again. This is not good.
Let's be honest. We all knew Maitland-Niles was a squad player at best. He was never going to be in the starting 11. Just one or two things I can pick up from the starting lineup there. Kieran Tierney. Now, everyone knew Kieran Tierney, you never get a first season out of him because of his injury record at Celtic. So it was always going to be him and another left back sharing that place, throughout the season.
Yeah.
I lived in Spain for 5 years, and they watch La Liga very very closely. I can't tell you as a supporter of La Liga. I much prefer La Liga and Premier League, but that's my own reason. But as a supporter of La Liga, I'm very disappointed in Partey. Very disappointed. I thought that he could suit the Premier League. Okay, granted he was signed injured, but he should be well over his bad injury now, and I'm very disappointed. The conversation has been going for the last 12 months of who can partner Thomas Partey. Well, at the moment it should be who can partner Xhaka. That's really, because
actually it should be who can partner Zombie.
If you look back where you guys were 12 months ago, it's kind of like you want to resolve an issue and move on to the next issue within the starting 11, but you think you resolved an issue. 12 months down the line, that issue is still an issue. You thought you'd resolve an issue by getting Partey into a team. 12 months down the line, it's Partey who is the issue.
We plug one hole in the boat, then there's a new leak every time.
Yeah, Brownie, what's the issue with Partey? At Atletico, he had probably better players around him as well.
To be honest, Atleti has always been a defensive-minded team. Now, I always thought Partey was a defensive midfielder, but as watching him on TV, okay, it's only a couple of times I want to watch Atleti live, but he was always a defensive midfielder. Now, Atleti did play with a pivot, so you had two defensive midfielders in middle there, protecting a back four. Arsenal don't play like that. Arsenal play with kind of you don't really play with defensive midfielders. Just an old-fashioned.
Xhaka would be the closest pivot.
Yeah, but it was an old-fashioned kind. They play with an old-fashioned kind of midfield line, where it used to be 4-4-2. You got the two central midfielders are still very central.
Yeah,
they're not. We'd call it an anchor role, I suppose, years ago. But Arsenal, an attacking team. Partey's never been in an attacking team with Atleti, but that shouldn't. This guy's a professional. That shouldn't really. It should only be an issue for the first few months of joining Arsenal. And
Yeah.
I am very disappointed as a fan of La Liga in Thomas Partey.
Was his shooting a lot better back then with his body?
Without doubt. But then
Yeah.
again, in La Liga, you do, because it is slower, it is more technical. You do have a bit more time on the ball.
On the ball. Okay. Tony, you wanted to jump?
Sorry.
You wanted to jump
As I
in, Tony?
asked Brownie what he thought of Odegaard's poor performances mostly this season, even though he's got a couple of goals, he's looked very poor. Hasn't barely started. What's your thoughts of him this season?
I do like him. I think he's had a bit of a at the beginning of the season. I think there's an issue trying to fit both Emil Smith Rowe and Odegaard into the same team. I think it is that's an issue because you have noticed now without Smith Rowe, Odegaard is scoring a few goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Gary,
Ghana,
it's what
he
we
played
asked for.
Well,
It's
yeah,
what
but with Ghana, with greatest respect to African teams, some of them aren't good to beat enough my local team here. But it kind of like, I do think that is an issue. Even when Odegaard went on Arsenal on loan, I think Arteta is trying too hard to get them both into the same team, and I think that can be detrimental to the starting lineup.
Definitely. Odegaard and Emil Smith Rowe. But Gary, this is what we've been crying out for: goals from midfield. We've got 2 goals from Saka this season, 3 from Odegaard, and 5 from Emil Smith Rowe. That's 10 goals just from those 3 players, and we're getting nothing from our strikers. We wanted those contributions from our wing play. And
just 2 years ago, we got 1 goal from a midfield the entire season.
So what's your point?
We're getting nothing from our strikers.
We're doing better in midfield, Tony.
Yeah, we're doing better in midfield, but it's either a feast or a famine. We're not getting both at this point.
Well, you know what, but you know what, you could probably see it coming, right? You could probably see it coming, and that's why we
wanted to see the goals spread around.
Yeah, and we thought one, Pepe would continue his form the way he ended the season. We thought Aubameyang, it was a blip, that was just one season where, things just didn't work out for him, everything, he got sick and all that.
Speak for yourself, Gary.
I definitely thought he would be able to turn it around.
Tony
If it was a blip, he would have returned to form. Obviously, it's not a blip, right?
Me and Brownie didn't believe in him.
Tony's bringing it tonight, Gary.
We
got our work cut out tonight, Gary.
I'm bringing all the cannons.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't expecting much from him, but I was definitely expecting Aubameyang to return to some sort of form, and I expected to see an increase in goal contributions from Emil Smith Rowe and Saka.
Lacazette is a number 8 now. He's playing as a number 8.
He was playing as a 10. Now last time he played as a.
Well, you know what? If that's where he plays, that's what we want. We need some of that in the middle there, right? Somebody who's okay to be on the ball in the middle of the pitch.
We need it, but we still need goals, and he's got the most goals for us last season.
He's not getting goals if we put him as a striker. You know that much.
You touched on that,
right?
He scores penalties. Uba can't score penalties.
Not talking about penalties. I'm talking about scoring goals from open play. He's not going to do that for you.
A couple of other things to get through. Gary, what's going on with Pepe? His last time we saw him on the pitch, he was putting a cross in that eventually Lacazette would score a last-minute goal against Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
goal involvement, right?
Well, one he's getting that whatever that Maitland-Niles treatment, or the treatment that Pepe got last season when Willian was in. He's getting that. Plus, he obviously isn't doing whatever the manager wants him to do. in practice, because supposedly practice is the reason why Nketiah is playing, because he's showing something in practice. Whatever that is, I don't know. But I mean, I
Yeah,
did
you
watch,
saw it.
I
You
did
saw it
watch,
on the field.
I did watch some of the highlights on
I want to
Nketiah,
know how
and
drunk Arteta is
wasn't
at
poor.
practice.
It
Yeah, it
wasn't
wasn't fun.
poor, right? It actually was okay. It was actually good. I mean, he's got to hit a header, and you can't say, all right, well, he's out of form. He hasn't actually.
No, that's his game.
You, you
And
got,
his game is finishing.
there's
He's got
certain
to
things
be
you
at
got to.
the
There's
end of
certain
things.
things you got to be able to do. Like if you're a
Yeah.
goalkeeper and you haven't played in like 2 months, and you come into a game and somebody puts the ball on the ground and you go down to get it, it shouldn't go between your legs. Right? That's essentially what happens when you get a header from point blank range, and you're supposed to be able to put it, at least put it on frame. Right? He missed. He didn't get even anywhere close to the goal. He hit,
Left his
so
mind.
those certain things that you need to be able to do, no matter how long you've been out of the game. It doesn't matter. I don't, you got to be able to do certain things. All right. As a striker, you got to be able to
Yeah.
hit from point blank range. As a goalkeeper, you got to be able to make the easy saves. All right. There's certain things, and that doesn't matter how long you've been out of the game. So that's what he didn't do. So yeah, I think,
Hmm.
and you know what, Eddie plays good. So what? He doesn't want to
Yeah.
be here anyways, right?
If he plays good, he creates these chances. But his game is about finishing. His game is about getting on the end of something
Yeah, and
and putting it in the
all
back
he's
of the
doing is
net.
increasing his pockets. He's not helping Arsenal.
Um,
You
Brownie,
know,
Brownie, what do you see from the outside? Arteta ostracizing certain players. Uh, it's not sustainable. You're going to start pissing off your squad eventually.
Yeah. No, normally when that kind of happens, it's like the manager's told, look, he needs to get some of his players off the wage budget. He needs to get them out of the door, and that's normally the kind of tactic a manager would use in trying to push players, pissing the players off to a point where the players basically wanting out and don't care where they go to, kind of thing. Um, Pepe, I think Arsenal bent over the table and given it you know that deal got dodginess written all over it, from
Mm,
agent to director of
me
football,
too.
and let's be honest, he's not worth bloody 17 million, let alone 70. And he must be on a big wage on that, and surely if it helps Arteta getting a better quality player, but Arsenal would have to pay for it. And we all know what Arsenal are like. They like to keep their finances on order. And I'm sure that Pepe, Arteta probably been, look, if you want us to do something in a transfer market next time around and you want a better player in, you're going to have to get rid of some of these players who you don't use off the playing budget.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the situation right now. I think he's just being
I
too
think so with
stubborn.
Pepe. I think he's, I,
Yeah,
and
Pepe doesn't like.
even Arsenal fans, I I think his chances at Arsenal now have gone. I think people have just had enough. They've given him enough chances.
Yeah.
He's not good. He's not a good player. Is he even Premier League standard? I'm not too sure on that.
Oh. I
So
think he's got the talent. A certain coach will be able to get that out of him. I know Gary's gonna want to jump in. Arteta's not getting it
I
out of
wanted to jump in.
him. You're next, Tony. Go ahead, jump in.
you said you're talking
And
about
then
Eddie. You're talking about Eddie, right? As far as
Pepe.
Pepe. Well,
Pepe,
yeah. Like I said, I think he's been
We
given
saw
enough.
flashes at
He's
the
been
end of
given.
last season, Gary.
He's been given enough chances. He knows what he has to do. It might be wrong. It might be totally wrong what he's being asked to do.
Yeah.
But the only way he's going to get on the pitch, and you know what? This is what we always talk about. The old school football players. Manager tells them to go out there and kick the post with their shin. They go out there and they just kick the post with their shin because
Run for a wall.
that's what the
Yeah.
manager says to do. Right?
Yeah.
Arteta might be wrong, but you know what? That's the only way he's going to allow you to play. It's really easy. I want you to do this if you want to go and play for me. right? And I don't think it's because he can't physically do the things he's being asked to do. I don't believe that. I believe he can do it. I believe he doesn't want to do it. And you know what? That's on him, though. Arteta's
No,
telling
it's
him what to
not.
do
It's on
now.
Arteta not giving him a proper chance.
He's had. What did he do in the last game that he came in and started? Do you remember that game?
How many games has he started this
That's not
season,
what I
Gary?
said. I said the
How
last
many
time he
games
got.
has he started?
But
Tony,
you have to
Gary
take.
asked you a question.
But you have to
Tony.
take advantage when those chances come to you. Know what? This is think about
It was supposed to be my turn, but Gary took my turn. So
Go ahead. You talk. You talk.
Tony, let's talk about Everton and their play. Okay. But
we're
if you
not going
want
to talk
to have
about
if
Pepe.
you want to have a retort with Gary, have your retort, and then move on to Everton's yellow or red card.
You asked me about Pepe.
Go ahead.
To me, he hasn't been given enough chances. He's been played haphazardly. Emery did not want him at all. He wanted Zaha, but the board bought him
Raul.
Pepe for double what he's worth. I was expecting, you're expecting him both to be in double digits in assists and goals this season, but he hasn't been given the chances. Yeah, he started one game. Yay. That's not enough. You have to be in form. You have to keep playing. You have to have repetition. You have to be out there at full game speed. What you do in training is not reflected on the pitch. I
Correct.
wonder how much Arteta drinks during training, practice, as Gary calls it, because those
Oi,
players
oi,
aren't
oi,
doing it
oi,
in the
oi.
game. It's clear. Aubameyang isn't good enough. You see Amen come in. He's given the cold shoulder for God who knows what reason. A normal player under our like Zaka plays 2 or 3 under 23 games. Instead, he's straight back into the squad, gets a yellow card, concedes a goal, but he's a leader. He brags on him. He tells us how good he is. 2 weeks ago, he's telling us how Uba hasn't lost form. Then the next week, he drops him. All he
Yeah,
says
but
is bullshit.
a manager has to cover for his players. Has to have their
He's
back.
full of bullshit, Ray.
They're
No,
all full of bullshit. Every
Not
manager
as
is
much
full
as
of bullshit.
Arteta.
It's
one
not
of
just
one of
Arteta.
one of the reasons in which we're saying
Froze.
between this issue between this issue between Aubameyang and Arteta is because he's now been late again for training and so on. And surely this guy's 31 now. When's he going to start learning and take responsibility for for his attendance? We all know he was late for the London Derby last season. Thomas Tuchel was even asked in a Chelsea press conference about him, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, he was always late during my time at Dortmund, but because he was so good, we allowed him to be late." Well,
Mm-hmm.
he was in his early 20s then. This guy is supposed to be captain of Arsenal, captain of a club, and showing because you've got so many younger players coming through, showing some guidance and taking responsibility for his role. And if it is true that he's been late again after a very publicised event in the North London Derby because of the same issue, I don't blame Arteta in coming down hard on him and dropping him. I really don't. If it was me, it probably wouldn't. It wouldn't go well with the PR team at Arsenal. But if I was Arteta, I'd come out and just say the reasons, because it must come. Issues must boil up inside some of these managers now. But the club are saying, "Oh, you can't say anything. Keep everything. You can't put the dirty washing in public and all that nonsense." It must come to a point you think, "Look, you can't be the captain of my club if you can't even be bothered to turn up on time."
Yeah, definitely. Aubameyang is an issue, and hopefully it's gonna rectify itself. I believe he's gonna come back into the starting lineup on Saturday. That would be my gut, and maybe Partey will be the one who gets a rest. Oba wasn't late again. I think it was back in spring. Ray Anderson from the North London Derby that we're talking about.
I think he was
Gar-
late again.
Was he?
Yeah.
Gary, let's jump into as Ray Anderson talked about red cards. Everton, I've seen the challenge from Godfrey on Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I don't know how that is any different than when Eddie came into the game and made a challenge, hit a player high on the knee with his cleats.
Intent is the difference.
He was making a play on the ball, and he was a really poor. It was endangerment. It has nothing. That was endangerment. That wasn't a rash challenge.
Mhm.
That was dangerous play, is
Yeah.
what that was.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened when you cleat a guy on the face, right? I think that's dangerous play. You should at least get a yellow. That should be the least. That should be the least of it,
He
right?
looked at him
Because
and did it on
he
purpose.
definitely had an opportunity, I believe, and like Tony said, he kind of saw him on the ground, and then you saw his leg kind of come up in the air,
Mhm.
and it was dangerous play. I mean, yes, he could have stomped his head and there would be even more serious damage, but it's dangerous play.
Yeah.
Right. And I've heard it multiple times today. As a defender, as a player, you have to protect the other player in those types of situations,
It's
right?
I've heard exactly, and I've heard Gary people say it's about intent. It's not about intent. It's about if you injure or if you are reckless towards
Yeah.
another player.
If you
That's
yeah
not
if you
intent. You
yeah
don't have to prove it.
if you swing your elbow and if there's nobody around, nothing happens, but it just happened to be somebody there, and they take it high in the eye. What do you say? Oh, it was not intent. No, it's dangerous play, right? It's dangerous play. I mean, the same way that Van Dyke got an injury, that's almost dangerous play there, because if he does that and it wasn't the flag didn't go up for offsides, there'd be a penalty and probably a red card for Pickford in that match,
Hmm.
right? But because the flag went up, all bets are off, which to me is actually not. I don't like that at all, because that almost sounds like when the whistle blows, if I punch you in the face, doesn't matter because the
Yeah.
whistle blew,
They
the
call
play
that
is dead,
bang
and
bang
it
play.
doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, they call that a bang bang play.
It wasn't a bang bang play.
No,
That wasn't a bang bang play. I know what you mean. You see
the
a bang bang
Liverpool
play.
Everton one where it's offsides, and then before you can do anything about it, Virgil van Dijk is injured, out for the season.
No, a goalkeeper didn't see it was offsides.
No,
Yeah, so it's not a bang bang
The two
play.
things happened concurrently, straight one after the other.
Yeah, and like I said, that probably could have been avoided, and it wasn't. But it was dangerous play for me. I
Against
mean,
Leicester, Eddie was going for the ball. I mean, that was an innocent challenge and it's punished by a red
It was
card.
reckless.
It was an innocent, reckless challenge. Okay, there was
And by the
no
letter of
intent.
the law, it's a red card.
Tony Godfrey intended to hurt Tomiyasu. Agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I
Good.
go with what I was going to say now?
Yes.
So many fans of
hello,
football,
folks. This is the
Feisty
Tony.
tonight,
Tony,
isn't it?
I'm going to
so
get my
many
respect
fans of
show.
football put intent in there instead of the fact that they're reckless charges. We started challenges. We started with a little sideshow Bob last year. By the letter of the law, that was a red card. By the letter of the law, of the Everton game, the stomp on Tomiyasu should have been a red card. The ref missed it. VAR missed it. But why isn't the FA retroactively giving red cards? It's clear as a red card.
Yeah, that's a good question. Why isn't the FA looking at this, Brownie?
I've nothing wrong with a challenge myself. Nothing wrong with a challenge.
Nothing wrong with the challenge. He could have torn the side off the side of his face with his studs, and
no, I tell you what.
sharp.
one of the things I don't like about VAR is that it's making, you mentioned earlier about the David Luiz red card against Wolves. It's making something look worse than what it is. But sometimes a player may not intentionally do it, although the foot automatically comes down because the foot. You know what I'm saying? But it did look quite intentional. I think it's one of those ones where you may have a better idea with the naked eye rather than using a slow motion TV kind of footage. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's the thing. In regular speed,
Yeah,
that's what you need to look at in regular speed.
yeah,
So in
yeah.
regular
That's
speed,
really what annoys me with VAR,
when you look at it
Gary.
in slow, you can't look at a foul like that in slow motion and go, I can tell when what happened. You can't see it, but if you watch it in regular speed, you rewatch it in regular speed, and then you make your decision. I'll take that.
Yeah,
The slow
yeah.
motion makes no sense. I mean, the Gordon challenge, like they were talking about that, he you watch it at regular speed. That's no different than what Eddie did. He was late on his challenge. It came up a little bit high, and he cleated him on the shin. He got him on the shin. Right? That's no different than what Eddie did. Eddie was late on his challenge, and he hit the player late after the ball was gone. Brought him down. No card given. No red card.
Do you
So
think
it's.
it's an
No,
anti-Arsenal brigade
I think they're poor. I think the officials are poor, and they're just poor. They're not good.
Yeah.
Because and I think they're allowed to be that way because when they officiate in the UEFA League, they look pretty good.
Do you think that they try to even it up with ruling out the Everton goals early on
But
in the game?
you know what? You can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. So if I punch you 5 times, I'm going to give you what 3 of them off because
I
you
know,
know.
but maybe before VAR, there was always a kind of thing, or someone you send one player off. Normally it happens in the first half, and you go in and
Even
normally
then,
the
it
manager
evens
will
up.
say, look, we're
Yeah.
trying to even it up. So I'm just wondering,
You can't do
wh-
that though as an official, right? You can't do
wow,
that. You can't. That defeats the
You
whole
can,
purpose.
but
Then
human
you
nature.
can't.
you
Okay,
can. But
As
that's
officially
human
you can't,
beings,
and
you know what?
officially you probably can.
That's your job, right? That's your job. That's almost like saying you're a policeman, but you can beat people up every once in a while because you're having a bad day. You can't do that. That's your job. So as a VAR
yeah,
official, you have to take every scenario and judge it by
isolation.
itself.
Yeah, exactly. Do you believe Godfrey's momentum could have made the whole situation against
No.
Tommy worse? No, no, there was no momentum. He actually created momentum himself by jumping. He didn't even need to jump up in the air,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. Look,
And
like I
you
said,
know where you're putting your feet, Gary.
yeah, no. Players have a lot of control of what they do. So to
Mm.
Yeah.
say that he didn't know what he was doing, I think sometimes is kind of an
Oh
excuse
no,
for
it
what.
hides
Yeah,
behind. I
yeah.
remember, I probably too old, but I remember Alan Shearer
Yeah, on
uh,
the hood.
stamping on Neil Lennon's face.
Yeah,
And now, years later, you got Alan Shearer being the hypocrite in the Match of the Day studio, slagging players off for doing something similar.
yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, and the reason in which Alan Shearer didn't get done for it was because he threatened the FA that he refused to play for England if he were, so he basically blackmailed the FA, and as the World Cup coming up, the FA didn't do anything.
Yeah, and so right, and that right there. So it's been a problem for
Why?
decades, right? It's been a problem for
Yeah,
decades, and even now, like they don't want. What I don't understand now is that they don't want to field the best 25 team in England. Just get the best players. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you did last year. It doesn't matter what you did the last 5 years. But if you're going into a tournament, if I can't get the best out of you because you're playing poorly, I'm not. I'm not the one that's going to turn it on as a national head coach. I can't be the one to turn it on. It's got to be good coming in, all right? Because you
Mhm.
can't. You're not. Not too many people just put on an England shirt and play so much better.
Yeah,
You know. So I
I
so I think
definitely. I think he looked before he cleaned his face. BX Skinner agrees. He did indeed have a peak,
yeah.
and
Well, I mean, who you know
maybe
what
other
Vardy
things
Vardy
things that
had a look at Mustafi before he
yeah,
his
and
foot
that
stick
was
out,
nasty too.
right? I
Well,
mean,
why
so
why does this stuff happen to Arsenal players? And
you know what I think one of the reasons why I think is because we're, as somebody said, we're soft.
soft.
We are soft.
Yeah.
Who is the player that's like Xhaka once in a while?
Gabrielle is the only one that comes
No,
up
but he's
under
not
his
even. No, he's
challenge.
You're
not.
right.
But he
Partey
does.
should be that player.
Yeah, but I saw Gabriel get taken out by Kane, and that can't happen either, right?
Mhm.
He should have got back up, and Kane would have never done it again, right? Kane put a shoulder into
Yeah,
him, and he got up, and it didn't. Nothing happened after that, and that can't
Can I
happen.
come in on this one, Ray, please?
Mm.
No,
yeah.
on this point, you with
For Ray
Ray.
Anderson here, no English
Yeah,
ref for the World
because
Cup.
this point is brought up time and time again. No, Wenger brought it up, didn't he? But the point is actually incorrect, or it's fake news. What happened there
All right,
was
What English ref was at the World Cup then?
one English ref was, but what
Which one?
happened shortly before the World Cup was played? So he was selected as a representative. Shortly before, he then took the money and went to ref in Qatar. So he was actually not an official then for the English FA. So they had to forfeit
Certify him.
they were official. So yes, it wasn't an English ref at the World Cup, but that was because of a they had to forfeit the referee because he pissed off for the money to refereeing in Qatar, in the Qatar League. It
Hmm.
wasn't because the feeling is that they're so bad they didn't even get selected, and that was never the case.
All right, Tony. Tony, I've been. I think we've got some favorable decisions from VAR because we have got, um, English goalkeeper. We've got a couple of English players now, so I think we're getting some favorable decisions. We're not getting it in terms of Bukayo Saka. He keeps
Yes,
continually getting fouled, and the officials, until such time as he either bulks up and becomes tougher, or the officials protect him, it's going to continue.
yeah, I'm surprised how he's rising in the English team that the referees aren't protecting him some, knowing that he's precious to England. They do that with Kane and other players. But yeah, they're not protecting him at all. He's getting bullied around. I think the kid's pretty stout, but he's getting
Yeah,
very harsh tackles on him.
yeah, he is
And
very stout. He
and
was,
and his body proves it because he gets hurt and he still doesn't miss a game. He's still in
yeah,
there.
yeah. And
He he
maybe to
should
his
miss a
detriment.
couple of games. He needs a rest, but he keeps on playing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I
and
and,
think
and
he's built better than people give him credit for.
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Gary.
What I was just gonna say, initially when I saw Saka, I always thought he was really small, but he's not that small as I
No,
thought. I mean, he looks pretty. I think he's
He's
pretty
pretty
solid enough
stocky
to.
little young lad, I think.
Yeah, I
mm,
think so. Yeah, so and when you see when you see them standing next to some of the older players, you're like, they're not that really tiny, right?
yeah,
And that's partly because of probably the way they've
timeless.
been, the academy and playing in England for as long as they have, right? I think that set them up pretty perfectly to play in the league, which is what you expect, right? I mean, Erdogan is got a couple more years on them, but he's not prepared for this league yet. Maybe he'll get there, but he's not.
I
Yeah,
think he's starting to get there. We've
yeah,
seen some flashes from him in the last couple of games, Gary.
yeah. No,
Um,
he's looking better, but I think these are things that you would have liked to. Hopefully, you would have seen. You would have
Yeah, but the
seen
problem
when he was
is
on
when
loan.
Smith Rose fit, Odegaard goes straight back to the bench.
No, not necessarily so. Erdegaard plays centrally, and Emil Smith Rowe plays on the left, and maybe a Martinelli gets sacrificed in that case. We'll see on Saturday, Gary, Tony.
Yeah, if he's healthy, right? We don't know if
Who
he's
should
healthy
get
just yet.
sacrificed?
Martinelli should, yeah.
No, he
You think
shouldn't.
should instead
He should play.
If
of
Emil
our
Smith
captain?
Rowe, comes in, who's going?
No, you're missing the point, Ray.
The captain should be the one.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Ray, we're trying to set you up with a softball here, a little
So,
roller,
guys,
and you just basically
Martinelli is that anyone that I was asking you? Who is that anyone other than Aubameyang? And it is Martinelli, right?
Yeah.
Gary, Ray Anderson said, if I was playing in that Everton match, I would have gotten the red card because I would have injured an Everton player. To the title of this podcast, there's no leadership in this team.
Yeah.
Very little leadership in this team. They have to figure it out pretty soon.
You know, you're letting your teammates get beat up, and you're not saying a damn word about it.
I think we do have some leaders. We have several players that have captained for their country at various levels.
Don't see it. You don't see it in Arsenal games.
We're talking about standing up for your teamteammates.
Yeah,
we're not seeing
only
that
one that
leadership.
Does it's Gabriel's only one standing up. I don't see anybody
we need more.
else doing
We need more, Tony.
Yeah, we need more. Like I said, the mentality needs to change. I've been saying it for 6 to 8 years now. That's why I wanted Simone. He would have changed it. Vieira would have changed it.
Like I say, we done like a cold windy night up north. Yeah. You know, we used to say it about Stoke, didn't we? You know, and if I'm honest with you if I can first of all go back to Ray's point regarding the official, with the World Cup, there's only one official per country, no matter how good your league is, and also. The guy, I had to look it up, the guy who was meant to be the official was Mark Clattenburg, who refereed the 2016 Euro Championship final and the Champions League final in 2016. So he was good enough to referee those games. But anyway, we'll move on.
Brownie, Ray Anderson says Partey does seem like a quiet person. He does seem introverted. He doesn't seem to be what you would think you would be buying from La Liga.
But you know what? That's fine. It's just that we're not seeing that player either.
No, I know. It's a worry, to be honest.
It's a performance thing for him more than it is a leadership thing. I don't. Obviously,
do you think he's ever been fit since he's been at Arsenal? I don't think he's ever been fully fit.
No. And it does kind of think back. I always questioned why other clubs weren't really pushing for Partey. I know he was injured at the time, but did other clubs have a heads up of the kind of injury in which he had?
Brownie, say 5-10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, you would have a battle between Arsenal and Chelsea. It would be public. It would be in the papers. I believe a lot of that negotiating is done behind the scenes now, and the player commits more and more to the club, and they're going to activate it.
But if you think of it already, the party one was because of Spanish employment law. As long as you meet the buyout clause, a player can go, no problem at all. But you know, Man United have needed a defensive midfielder for friggin' years. Mm-hmm. And why didn't they go in for Partey, man? If he was so good.
I think all of these things are behind the scenes. We don't hear about them anymore.
You know, I'm just looking at his numbers from his last season. Nothing looked out of sorts in terms of the games that he played, in terms of, how he was playing. I mean,
because he did miss the first 6 weeks of the La Liga season. I know that it started earlier because of COVID. Yeah. But he did miss that, and he signed then on deadline day, didn't he? He signed on deadline day to Arsenal. I don't know. I've just always found it strange that Partey wouldn't. No other clubs were publicly, in the press.
I don't think you ever see that anymore. I don't think you see anymore. You have Name me a transfer that's happened in the last 5 years that you've had a very public battle between one and the other. You
I think
don't.
sometimes you do, though, Ray. If an
You
agent
see
wants to
him,
create a
Ray.
bidding
They're
war,
there.
if an agent wants to create a
Name
bidding
one.
war and get the best deal for his client,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tony, BX Skinner said there's not one player out there dictating or pushing this team, and that ultimately points to the manager. Is it the manager, or is it the strategy of buying the players? Because we haven't bought the right mix of players.
Like I said, you seen Lacazette out there telling his players he has an armband on, tells them to press forward, tells them to play faster, and nobody listens to him. So is the manager telling him not to listen to him? Is he telling them to hold the ball up, play defensively, set on a lead, do
Okay,
this, do that?
why are the players not listening to Lacazette? Then I'm going to go down this road with you.
I have no idea.
You have a
They all
theory,
talk
but you
about how
can't
he's a
back it up.
leader. All the young players say how they look up to him, but I have a clue why none of them were listening to him. He's always been committed to Arsenal, no matter his form.
Yeah.
He cares about the badge. He's not going to give up. Even if he leaves in January or signs a pre-contract in January, he's going to be busting his ass for Arsenal. And he is asking the rest of the players to do it. And I said this 3 or 4 weeks ago. I thought we'd keep on winning because we have all these 22 to 24-year-old guys that are playing for each other. And now they don't want to play for each other. I don't know if they're tired of Arteta, don't believe in Arteta. There's other things behind the scenes we don't know about. I don't know what it is, Ray.
Yeah.
But I know I seen Lacazette screaming at the players.
It's
They
very
won't
hard
listen.
to put our fingers on this one, Gary. Laka has 1 foot out the door. Who's listening to him? BX Skinner, I still would think that he's a senior member of a dressing room.
Yeah, I heard.
I don't
Yeah,
think he has 1 foot. Who can say he has 1 foot out the door? He's always committed.
because the reports are he doesn't want to re-sign, so obviously he's leaving. I don't know
He's
what else to
talking
say about
to
that
Who
one.
blames it? Who can blame him, Gary?
Wait a second. Which one is it? Are you? What are you? What are you talking about, Tony?
You're defending him and then throwing him under the bus at the same time.
Who? Me?
Yes.
How am I throwing him under the bus? He did not start the first 5 games because Arteta.
That's
did
not what we're
play
talking
him.
about, though. He doesn't want to
And what
resign.
happened when he started playing, Ray? We went on a 10-game unbeaten streak with him in the team. So apparently
He wasn't playing much. He wasn't playing much. He came back in the Crystal Palace game. He wasn't part of that 10-game unbeaten run.
I know, but he did not start the first 5 games. then he started off the bench. Then, like you said, he saved our ass versus Palace.
I was gonna say in regards to why the team seems to change their style as soon as they take a lead, and I heard somebody say today, and you kind of wonder why as a team they just basically just fold and try to set. I think they lose their confidence when they take a lead, and they don't want to make a mistake, so then they kind of play cautious.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in a league where the other team is also figuring.
Taught by Arteta, he wants to play.
But here's what happens. Here's what happens, Gary. You go goal up, and your natural tendency is to sit back and consolidate what you have. The other team's natural tendency then is to push. So you see.
But you know what? When somebody, but like the problem is that at least at some point, when you're looking when you're going into practice the next day after a loss like that, you look at the tape, right, as a team probably, and you look at this is what it looked like before we scored a goal, and this is what it looked like after we scored the goal.
Yeah. You
tell me as somebody on this team, speak up and tell me why did we change the way we were playing? Because I didn't say it. Like that's what Arteta's going to be saying, right?
Tony's got.
I didn't tell you to change. So then, why are you doing that? Why aren't you following my instructions? Because you know what? I want to win games. Do you guys want to win games? Because you're not winning games when you sit back and park the bus because it
You
doesn't work.
don't win in the Premier League with one goal scored a lot of
And
the
you know
time. You
what?
don't win.
And you know what? You this is the second time, third, fourth time that you've done this now, right? Why are we doing this? We have to take advantage when the team gives us when we get a turnover, we need to attack and press forward. We
Yeah.
can't let teams dominate us. We're not that bad of a team where we can do that. Where we're playing so poorly, they're going to dominate us like that. We're a much better team. We can take the
Yeah.
ball. We can take the ball away from them farther up the pitch because we were doing that for the first 20, 30 minutes when it was 0-0. You know, as a manager, this is what you're sitting there, you're talking about, and the players need to tell you why. Why did you? Why on that particular play did you just run away from the man with the ball?
Mm.
Right? Why did you
Yeah.
revert all the way back inside the box when you could have attacked him outside the box and either brought him down if you felt threatened, or
Yeah.
just defended him up top and made a tackle and got the ball back and moved up the pitch? What was going on here? See, I obviously don't believe that. I don't see. We retreat so many times back into the box, and I don't even mean the back line. I
Is
mean
it
the
is it
midfielders as
because they're
well.
young? Is it because the team is young, Gary? And
Yeah,
we'll
but
get to you,
no,
Tony.
there is no way in you 12 you tell your team just retreat back into the box.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, come on.
No, no. But
You
is it
can't make that
because they're
excuse.
young?
These
Because
players,
they're young and
come no.
inexperienced,
The
Gary.
youth, you can't say the youth are being taught to do that. They're actually more
No.
rash. They're going to make that tackle because they want to stop the ball before it gets in the box. They're not going to. The worst place to make a tackle is inside the box, right? I mean, it's a simple game. When they get into the box, you're kind of in trouble.
Are
So
you
the
are
trick
you
is to keep them
thinking
out.
are you thinking the young players are doing this of themselves, or are you thinking Arteta's telling them to do this?
I think he's allowing it to happen.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I believe is happening more than he's teaching them to retreat back into the box. I think he's allowing it to happen, and then nobody's accountable for their
You're wrong,
actions.
Gary.
So, Tony,
Your
Tony,
dog
He's
is
allowing it
saying
to
it
happen
too,
because we keep
Gary.
seeing it over and over again, even though he's screaming at them to push
What's
up the
wrong with your
field.
dog, Gary?
I know. I got to. I go. I'll be right back.
be right back. As
I,
Stefan says one.
I thought I
Stefan
had to
says
talk.
one
I
time.
thought I had to talk in the house, Fran, for a moment. I thought I had to talk.
One podcast, Stefan said, "Placate the dog, please. Placate, please. He's not happy." Isamo, tongue in cheek, I think, says Arsenal players can't defend one another because they can't lead their positions. They be given by the manager, or they'll be dropped the next game. I think that's tongue in cheek. Tony, go ahead.
I was asked, what did Arsenal start doing with 25 minutes left?
Sitting on their lead,
No, they started time wasting.
right?
Did they
Yeah,
decide to
that's
do
the
that on
same
their
thing.
own?
That's the same thing.
Did they decide to do it on their own? It's called time wasting, Ray. Come on.
It's called sitting on your lead as well. It's the same
It's time
thing.
wasting. We
You're
were
splitting
doing
hairs.
time wasting.
And we never do
So if
that.
we're
And we
sitting
get
on the league, we're playing like Barcelona, kicking it side to side, keeping total possession. Instead, we just do back passes, put the goalie under pressure, and the team ends up equalizing and
We
then
are very soon. We're going to wind up the Everton conversation and move to the Premier League conversation. So,
Well, hang on. Can I just
get in? You get in. One.
Yeah, I got a soft spot for Everton. You guys know that. But that Everton game was always going to be a very dangerous game for Arsenal because no one knew exactly what type of Everton they were going to come up. There was the rumours that there was going to be a protest. It turned out to be the worst protest I've ever seen in my life.
what do you think? 50 people walked out.
But also as well, it was always going to be a dangerous game, and the atmosphere. Sometimes they say that the atmosphere is can always be the 12th man in a game, and with Goodson Park being an old-fashioned ground, the fans are kind of like on top of the players. There, I do think the atmosphere changed the game for Everton on Monday. and the age, the age of such a young Arsenal team could well have been one of the reasons for that. They're not used to going to old-fashioned grounds. They, with that type of, just be honest, bubbling up atmosphere. I that was always a very, very dangerous game for Arsenal on Monday, and I bet Arteta really didn't want Everton being such a wounded animal that they were before that game, because Rafa Benitez was always going to come out fighting.
But you know what? That's been the case for every game we've played. I mean, 90% of the games we played has always been a wounded animal coming in to play us, somebody who's been down on their luck, somebody who hasn't scored in forever, somebody who's having a really bad run of form. Everything negative for the team coming in. And every time that happens, Arsenal doesn't come in and basically take advantage of it, because, right?
So going on my point then, Gary, is it the lack of experience, because many of these players are in a younger age bracket now? Is it that lack of experience in taking control of a game from start to finish, and also managing the games out from start to finish on the pitch?
We need
Yeah,
those players.
the best players are the ones that don't have, like you said, don't have that experience. So then they don't understand that you got, like you said, you got to play 90 minutes, and they can't. And that's the reason why they shouldn't play all the games they're playing, because you need them to play 90 minutes, and I mean 90 minutes at optimal performance levels. Right? They need to be able to play 90 minutes. The way they start the first 30 minutes of the match, they need to finish the last 30 minutes of the match at a close to that level, right? And they can't do that because right now that at least Saka can't do that. Mr. Fro, injury prone, probably can't do that either. And they're asking, and that's the thing.
Tini was blowing by 50 minutes.
Yeah, and that's
And look, this.
and that's him getting time to come back into the game. And same thing, Xhaka, around 60-minute mark, his form dipped. Right,
Yep.
Some people even said
Concedes the goal.
when his form started to dip, that's when the game turned as well, and it looked really poor because, the listeners. I mean, I wasn't really thinking that it was him, but like you said, definitely a lot of players who probably are still rusty and still not in form were still playing in that game, and it was a really tough game.
Yeah.
You
And-
take out Tierney, you take out Xhaka. Maybe we hold on and have that lead.
Yeah.
Maybe we hold on to that
Well,
lead because
starting
Xhaka does what he always does, and that's even when he's healthy. If the ball gets past him, he never seems to sprint back. He always seems to be just running just fast enough to be there to see the damage that's created in front of him, and never to go in there and to actually commit to like stopping. He's just watching everything that's going on in front. He never really wants to get back involved into the play again to maybe stop the thing. And I think if you watch the replay where they did score, if he just runs straight head down, he's right in there to intercept the pass. But because he's jogging and he's taking his time to get back there, he's just a step slow, and the ball trickles right in front of his path, and they get a score out of it. So I think, and that's just he's done. I seen him do that so many times. So it's not necessarily a health thing, but I've seen it so many times. And at that point in the game, he wasn't going to ever make it back. So
and for Everton's first goal, the equaliser, I couldn't believe just how switched off the two centre backs were when that ball come off the bar. I'd be furious if that was Cardiff level.
I looked at there was a reason for that, and then the reason is that Tavage left. There were two players there, and Gabriel froze because he had two players to defend, and he didn't know which one to take, and that's why they got that open header into the goal from Richarlison. So, and it was before Richarlison got the header. He had to commit. He had to try to decide what to do, And then, like you said, I don't know. I thought it was the combination. It was White, Gabriel, and Tavage. That whole thing, they just did not
Birthday.
communicate. They did not
Yeah.
communicate, and and Gabriel sitting in the middle like he always is in no man's land basically. Because if he commits to Richarlison, the ball gets passed right past him to whoever was to his right, and they probably get a really nice goal anyways. So I think it was one of those things where it was just I can't, as I recall, I think that's what happened there. So he needed more. He needed a solid back line, and he didn't have it at that point.
Mm. Brownie, when on December, I think you made a comment about me saying that Lacazette doesn't communicate with the team. Tony made that comment that no, you were saying Lacazette was trying to tell the other players
How the
what to do,
20th minute he was screaming at
but
him.
they weren't listening. It wasn't me that said that, December. Brownie, when Jack appeared in the team, the players were on the back foot. Why has Ainsley Maitland-Niles not played since his last game when he was man of the match? It's decision making like this that hurts Arsenal. Tony, we're going to go around the house here. Your final thoughts on the actual Everton game, and let's put some nominees up for the man of the match. You start us off, Tony. Your final thoughts. Let's round out Everton and start previewing the Premier League games.
I'm like Brownie. I think it was, to me, the game was always in the balance. As a nervy game. Everton had more to prove. Arsenal just didn't come out and do what they're supposed to. We get a goal. And what I was wanting to say earlier is, when's the last time you seen a player that went from no contact training straight into the first team and play 90 minutes? Ever?
That is ridiculous that Granit Xhaka has stayed on the field for 90 minutes. And look, it was a great goal in the end, but Granit Xhaka is right there in midfield.
He never was in
with an
contact
opportunity
training,
to do
Ray.
something to stop that
It's
happening.
insane.
And you were talking about earlier intelligence in midfield. We need a player like Jordan Henderson, somebody who can control the game, who can control players around him, and set the tempo of the game.
But that's what Partey's supposed to be there for.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
not
Partey's supposed to
vocal.
be
He's
there
not
for.
vocal enough to move players around, put them in positions. Tell Tavares to slow down, play left back if you need to play left back for 10 minutes. Brownie, you have your say, and who do you think was one of the better players on the night for Arsenal?
Oh, Jesus. Fucking hell. I have to pick a best of a bad bunch, right? Jesus.
That's the task, yes. First of all, you can summarize the game. And listen, I'm going to say Arsenal, I'll do it first for you. Arsenal went up to Goodison Park, having lost at Old Trafford in what was I described as shootout. You don't get many games like that, 3-2 at Old Trafford.
I enjoyed that game, to be honest. Arsenal were very unlucky.
I understand Sam was telling you to stick on your bet. I heard that. Good stuff. It went into a shootout. It was a shootout. We go to Goodison Park. We needed to give the Everton crowd every opportunity to jump on Rafa Benitez, a former Liverpool manager, and we couldn't even do that up there ourselves. We couldn't make the crowd turn on one of their own in Rafa Benitez. Shame on Arsenal. We didn't set the tone. We didn't jump on Everton early enough. We went there in a sleepwalking, and we got what we deserved. There's a couple of games in the season you're going to get hit by wonder goals and you're going to lose games, and that happened to us. And we had to have a reaction on Saturday. Go ahead, Ben.
I completely forgot about that Man United game, to be honest, and because I was watching that closely. It does come out. It comes out with inconsistency because of the youngsters. Because you're always going to get inconsistency with youngsters, and Arsenal played really well. They didn't deserve. They deserved at least a point from that United game, and from that performance to the Everton performance, I thought, it just slaps of inconsistency. It really does, and as a football fan, no matter what team you're supporting, seeing your team being so inconsistent can be so frustrating. Really frustrating. So, I I just think they were all bad. If I'm honest with you, I'm not even going to give you a man of a match. They really were all bad. Collectively, they were fucking shite.
Yeah, yeah.
To be quite honest with you.
The only
Um,
one that you could give a man of the match
Tommy Asu and Tierney
my
would be the closest to. I would say.
Bukayo Saka. The kid got kicked all game long, and yet he puts a cross in near the end for Eddie Nketiah to win the game. We were 1-1. People forget we were 1-1 at the time when Nketiah had the chance to score the lead goal in something like the 84th minute. Bukayo Saka supplied that cross. Damari Gray went, scored a great goal, and then 7 minutes into injury time, Aubameyang had his chance and he fluffed
Yeah.
his lines. So Bukayo Saka for me. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a poor game all around. Some people stood out for a little bit. I mean, Odegaard did score, and it was a really nice score that he made.
Yes.
I think he had another opportunity to score and didn't do so well. I think Martinelli actually played good. I think you don't.
I would
No, we
say
don't.
Martinelli. If
I
I
didn't say
that's
much
one.
from him.
You don't see much from him, but he put a lot of pressure on their back line. I believe he puts more pressure on their
Seamus
back line than a
Coleman,
Pepe would have, in
their
that
oldest
sense.
player.
Huh?
Seamus Coleman's their oldest player, and he didn't really give him a hard time.
I'm not sure. Did he?
I don't think he did. I don't think Martinelli played well.
I think the reason why some the play looked the way it does because of some of the pressure that he was putting on their back line. That's just kind of what I think there. Like I said,
Me and Tony are against you on this one.
the fact that you're teaming up with Tony once again proves nothing.
Once again, we don't ever agree, me and Tony.
It doesn't mean it's right. Actually, it really doesn't mean it's right. But
Ray, you just like
it's
poking the bears all
it's a different it's something kind of what I felt and kind of saw and listened to. But
yeah,
like I said, I think I might just give it to Erdogan, even though I think like I said, you could pick anybody apart and say he didn't do anything. I mean, Saka did some good things and then disappeared for some parts, and it did get beat up, but that's what's going to happen to him. It just happens.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to. He's a mark man. Yeah. I mean, I think people know that if they don't, he will punish them, and that's what and that means somebody else has to stand up, and take advantage of that when they do go after him.
Yes.
So
maybe Erdogan's doing that a little bit, Gary.
Yeah. I think he had chances to.
Middlesbrough.
He looked good. So Middlesbrough, when he's healthy, like you have to pick between the two of them, and by Saka's probably the one that's most dangerous as far as width on his feet. So I think, I guess I really, like I said, this is another one of those matches I really don't want to, but I don't think it was as bad as the past match. So this one, I'm going to give it to Erdogan. He got the goal, and he probably could add another one, I believe. But yeah, I mean, we had opportunities to at least tie up this match. We didn't have many chances, but we had some really good ones. And see, for me, it's like
won the game.
So for me, it's kind of like, all right, we don't get many chances, but the chances that we did have, are those not good?
They're quality chances, yes.
I mean, if you know what I mean, like you get that same number of quality chances, even if you have a lot more chances and opportunities to score in the game, right? Those two chances you put those away. Aubameyang out there on the right with the far corner all to himself, basically should be able to put that ball away, right? I mean, Eddie on the left side once again with just to kick it right on the inside of that post, and headed it right in there. He's got to be able.
He scores that. He scores that, Gary. Yeah. We're not talking about Aubameyang because Aubameyang doesn't get on the field.
So I think it isn't actually the number of chances now, because we're actually, when we do get the opportunities to score, they're gimmies. They're supposed to be sitters. They're supposed to be like.
What did I tell you a few weeks ago? Efficiency. We need to be efficient. When we're not efficient going forward.
And it's attention to detail. It's the, that ball's coming to you and you're up one at that point in the match, and if I put this through, we're going to win. because we're going to be up 2 with less than half an hour to go in this match.
Yeah.
You put it in there, right?
Yeah.
Aubameyang, you come in, you know there's like less than a minute to go in this match, or maybe you don't. Maybe you know that at any point the whistle's going to blow.
That game's over. He knows that's the last.
Every opportunity that you have to shoot, it's got to be on. It's got to be between the posts.
Yeah, work the keeper.
You know, we talk about it all the time. You got to make the goalkeeper make a stop at least, and then after that, put it away from him. You know. Oh, Tony, you stop talking. Didn't you name your guy anyways?
Coffee, Tony, we'll come back.
You started this whole thing. You didn't even call the guy's name out.
For me?
No, Tony was he started the Don Juan man of the match.
He gets the final say.
No, I didn't. I started.
Well, I know he's not picking Martinelli. Right, Tony?
Right.
Nope.
This is the Tony show. What's going on, Tony? Tell us.
Oh, Tony should be hosted tonight. He's really.
I know. He's just like basically, you know what, guys? Get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Will you let me speak, Gary?
Yes, Tony, you're going to host one of these shows, Tony. Gary's going to have
plenty of coffee. I'm good to go.
Go.
To me, like I said, the full play was great. Saka played good. But to me, Tierney came back in. He was making good crosses. He's creating chances. To me, he was the best out of a bad lot. Nobody really deserves it, but he would have to be the one you'd have to give it to for me.
You're giving it to Tierney?
Yep.
All right. Gary, you gave it to Ødegaard? All right. You're the winner, Gary. Because Ray Anderson has backed you up. Ødegaard. Okay. All right, Tony.
You know what? One thing.
Did you see Ray's last comment?
Tony will put the plane in the mountain. He'll be driving that.
Yeah.
You know that plane.
You know what? We got the stewardess to get him out of the cockpit. He's not going back in, so he's locked out for the.
As long as he's Russian.
He's locked out of that.
On the plane when
he's locked out of the cockpit until we land. So
Gary,
no problems there.
It'd be like that film Airplane.
Hey, you know what? One of the things I did want to talk about, and I saw this. Somebody was was watching a show and they were talking about watching Wax Online. I don't know if you guys ever watch him.
Yeah.
But he was talking about trying to just basically Arteta is done. He should be done here, and people talking about he's improved the defense. We've given up 22 goals in 15 matches this year. 22.
I've done the math. You want me to?
It's almost 50. It's almost 50 for the season, and we did only 39 last season. And I know it's not all on them, but it is a concern.
But again, you have to party. Party is not protecting the back.
Well, that was the main point that I put in there is that you've got a really good solid back five, right? But you got nobody in front of them.
Gary, I did the math. I did the math for you.
Mm-hmm.
If we keep going, keep going the way we're going, we'll concede 56 goals this season.
Yeah, and we only score like 52.
No, we will score 46.
46.
46. We'll have a minus 10 goal difference if we keep going this way. But
how many points will we have now?
We know things don't go like that. Seasons improve, seasons get worse. It's not going to be linear.
Seasons improve and they get worse. So you're saying it could get worse. It could be negative. It could be negative 20 is what you're saying, right? Goal difference.
No, it's got to get better, right?
You said it goes both ways.
Below it now.
Tony, 1 second, Tony.
Yeah, the other thing that I noticed because I wanted to take a look at it is that in all of our losses this season, Partey, Xhaka, or both were in midfield.
Yeah, but we've lost to Liverpool, we've lost to City, we've lost to Chelsea.
I'm just telling you who was in midfield when we lost, right?
Okay.
I'm just telling you who was in there, and they're supposed to be the players that are supposed to be able to play in those. Partey has played against Liverpool and beat them twice.
Yes.
So he's actually been on the other side of these type of games. Yep. So he's played against them, and he knows how they play. This is not a. And you know what? Even if he's injured, say he's not 100%, he knows how they play. He's seen it,
Yeah.
and he's seen his team actually go out there and
All right.
perform against them, regardless of the players around him. Because yes, they were much better than what he's got now, but he's seen it, so he knows. So he's got experience against some of the teams that he's playing now in even bigger arenas and bigger scenarios in terms of what's at
Occasions.
stake,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So that that has to mean something, and it means right now it means absolutely nothing
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
his attention to detail is poor, his passing is poor,
His
and you
passion has been awful.
you see that, and you're like, wait a second, what are you doing? You're in midfield. You can't turn the ball over with really weak passes like you're doing. Where
Um,
you know.
I'll be interested to see what you're going to say for the Southampton game in reference to Partey.
We need to know what are the banana peels
We
for
got
this
we got to
one.
wind up the Everton game and get into the other pacing. We got to pace. My pacing's off. We got to.
We're at like 110 minutes here.
You took like 75% of the show.
I did.
You were telling me. No,
I
just the pace of it. Just not you personally.
you said you.
Uh,
Bad Gary.
all of you.
Interrupted.
One thing we do have to do, Gary, Tony, and Brownie, we are playing because we're not in Europe. We're playing on Saturdays, and we have to start taking advantage. We've done a little bit of that. We took some advantage of winning our game.
Against
But-
shit teams.
Guess what? West Ham and Tottenham, they're playing Sundays. We need to start putting pressure on these teams by winning games. You know what I mean? A
I
couple
know
of
the
players
top
here.
3-4 have been beating up on each other, and we haven't
I
gained
know.
any on them.
December, this is very true. Every time Arsenal come up to a team that stands up and fights, Arsenal, for the points, Arsenal do fail. Truthfully, unless football becomes a non-contact sport, Arsenal will continually have problems with every team in the Premiership. Unless we target some physicality in midfield and maybe
You know what?
physical strikers.
You know what?
Well.
And that's the other. So that's the other side to this thing. All right. So say you're not going to be a physical team. You have to make them. You have to make the other team look stupid. Then, right? You have to finesse your way through up and down the pitch. Make sure your guys are in right position so they look silly when they come up to put in a hard challenge because the ball's already gone because your teammate's there in the position that he needs to be to move up the pitch. Like you used to watch Arsenal. We would always used to say Arsenal just likes to walk the ball in the goal, and when they were on, that's exactly what happened. Right? The ball moved so swiftly that by the time you knew what was going on, somebody was just tapping the ball in from one foot. Right? I'm talking some sense here, Tony. Maybe you don't know what that sounds like.
Man,
You get a yellow card for that.
this
Is that a
Tony
comment of
Tony
mine?
guy. Tony, whatever you did tonight, whatever you drank, whatever
He said he
you
went and got some. He had to go make a run. Basically, is what he did today.
It's
You
To the
gotta
coffee.
keep
liquor
doing
store.
this.
To the liquor store.
Tony, you got to keep doing this, whatever you're doing, as long as it's healthy.
2 coffees.
As long as it's healthy, you got to keep doing this, Tony.
Yeah, as long as it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy. I think at some point Tony's just gonna fall backwards and never get back up.
Yeah.
All right, Gary. Gary, we're gonna move
Ray
on.
approves of that comment.
Gary, I'll keep you moving. Gary, I'll keep you moving. We're gonna do all of the other teams really quickly, and then we'll get back to the Southampton game. Okay? Tomorrow, have you picked your upset?
I don't even know. No. I usually prepare for that, but I didn't do it today.
All right. I have an
You
upset
haven't
pick.
looked at the form table like
I'll
you
tell
have the
you
last 5 or 6
You know
weeks,
what
Gary?
you're gonna have to do from now on, Ray. You're doing all this work anyways. Why don't you either create an image or a banner with the actual matches and the table positions.
Okay. So listen, last week
I can answer your question, Gary.
Matt here and Matt picked up some points. I picked up some points. So the people at the bottom and the person at the top took some points, and it sort of got compressed a little bit with everybody in the middle. So, Gary, Brentford versus Watford tomorrow, 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. UK time.
Brentford versus Watford.
It's a kind of a nothing game, 13th versus 17th.
Yeah, and they beat us soundly, right? So you know what? I think that's actually going to be probably a good game because they both give up a decent amount of goals, and they both they both are probably looking for a win here. So I can actually see a high scoring game just because I think they're going to open it up, and it's in Brentford, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Sorry. Assemble, sorry, tired, forget.
What
You
happened?
getting tired? Sorry, tired, forget. It's Brownie.
Yeah,
Brentford versus Watford.
yeah, I agree with Gary. Actually, I think it's going to be quite a high-scoring game because both teams like to go forward and they can't defend for toffee. Yeah, I think you know what, Gary. I do apologise, but I think I'm going to agree with you. I fancy a 2-all
It's
myself.
okay. It's okay. Gary needs someone to agree with him tonight. He hasn't had a lot of that.
Gary's alone on an island.
1-1 draw. I'll go for as well. I agree.
Four goals in a match is high scoring. I don't think it's considered a low scoring match, is
Four
it?
is high. Yeah,
Yeah,
4 is high.
yeah.
Anything over 3 would be a high scoring
I
game.
think yeah, I agree. Anything over 3, I think yeah.
Yeah. Tony, 1-1.
Watford's
I've
been
got
on
1-1
woeful
Brentford.
form. They've won one of their last five, lost four.
Now
Brentford
he's
isn't
looking at
much
the form
better.
table.
But I'm going 2-1 Brentford.
You're slagging Gary off for looking at the form table. Now you're doing it yourself.
I looked at it. I just didn't say anything about it. So
Oh, Gary's doing it in secret now instead of out in the open like he has the last month.
All right. Tony, you keep going. City versus Wolves. First versus the 8th place. Wolves, their hearts were broken against Liverpool last weekend. I really felt like they should have gotten something from that game, um, and have Jota really kick himself. But City versus Wolves, Tony,
Where are they playing?
at City,
Eddie Head.
yeah, the hat.
I think Wolves are they get a draw. I'm gonna go with this as my upset pick.
Don't do it in haste. You blame me later. Okay,
Hey, I
that's the
still have a
upset.
snow game in there too, Ray.
You do. It's right here. Look. Actually, I gotta check that. I gotta go back and check that. Your name isn't there.
I put it.
you know what? So that means everybody chose that except for me.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
Who else is there?
It was
There's
me.
5 people.
Ray and Gary.
Yeah, Matt. Matt did it.
No, Matt's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
So, like I said, almost everybody did it, and you didn't even put Tony in.
Gary, who's gonna win? City versus Wolves.
Wow, I do like Tony's choice there, but because I haven't looked at the other ones, I kind of don't know.
Ray Anderson's
Just,
going for. So Tony's going for Wolves. Okay, that's the upset.
mm,
Tony has been reaching lately.
yeah,
I haven't been reaching. I went with Palace. They let me down, but that was a close one. They played.
City's home.
They played a close game against
It's-
Man United. Come on, Ray.
I think
That's not reaching.
City actually rested their players this week, right? So I think they're going to be.
United didn't score until the 77th minute against Palace, Ray. I'm not reaching.
No,
It was close. I
Yes,
almost got my points. Come on, Ray.
I don't know everything. I'm just a fan like you.
You
City
never
versus
remember
Wolves.
what team I pick. You come back to me every time. 3 times every show.
I do it on purpose.
yeah, I do. I think City's going to win that. So
City will
yeah,
win that one. I
yeah.
think City will win that one. Wolves' hearts were broken last weekend. Tough to play Liverpool and then City in close succession. Brownie.
Yeah, I'm going 3-0 to City.
I don't think City are going to look back now. They've got the lead of the Premier League, and they're going to just keep going relentlessly like last season. Um, I think City will win. The next one is Chelsea versus Leeds. I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. They'll be determined to come back after what West Ham did to them. They'll beat Leeds. Chelsea will beat Leeds. Tony?
Leeds will still give them a challenge, but like you said, City's or Chelsea got something to prove here. They dropped it during the weekend. And it's time for them to come back and get a win.
Who?
Chelsea.
Yeah. Gary?
Yeah, I had 4-2 Chelsea in my head, so yeah.
All right. And Brownie?
Yeah, I can't see nothing apart from a Chelsea win there.
All right, Brownie, you take the next one. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard comes back to Liverpool as the
2-0
manager of
Liverpool,
Villa.
I think. If it was the other way around, if it was at Villa Park, I'd say it could be a possibility of Liverpool dropping points, but not at Anfield.
It would
So
be
I'd say
class.
Liverpool win.
It would be class if he gets a draw up there. I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say Liverpool and Aston Villa draw 1-1. Tony?
Liverpool's won 4 in a row. I go with Liverpool.
Doesn't mean they're going to get 5 in a row just because they got 4 in a row. Doesn't mean they're going to get 5. It doesn't work like that.
You'll work for numbers in your favor anyway, Ray.
Gary? And Ray Anderson's got Liverpool winning 3-1.
Yeah, I think once again, I think Liverpool.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
I think they also probably didn't need to win this week, so they didn't probably put too much into that match, and they're playing at home.
The only English team to win 6 group games in the Champions League. Go and win the competition, and then I know you've won it many times, but
no, I think I think it's going to be a rude homecoming for him. 3-0. I like that. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to skip Arsenal, Southampton. We'll come back to that one. Gary, Norwich are playing at home to Man United.
As much as
it could happen.
As much as I do want
it could happen.
to see that, I can't see it happening at all. I mean, where is it's Norwich is at home. It might be low scoring, but I don't think Norwich will get anything out of it. It'll probably be 0-2 to United. I think.
I don't think Rangnick has. He might have helped them a little bit, but they're still United right now.
They are too. They have too many quality. They have Ronaldo. I mean, just get the ball to him in the box, and he'll make magic happen. And he's done it, right? He's done it. He doesn't get too many chances in the games. You give him a chance, and you pay for it. Norwich will give him a chance, and they will pay for it.
Brownie?
Yeah, I go with that. United win at Carrow Road. But, in all fairness, Dean Smith have done well since he's taken over.
Yeah.
Was it, is it 2 or 3 wins, I think? At least they got a fight of staying up. But, no, he wouldn't have wanted Man United in town this weekend, that's for sure.
We would love to see that, Ray Anderson, 1-0 to Norwich. I think United still have one of those results in them post Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but they probably will win. But I wouldn't be surprised. Here, next game, Burnley.
You didn't ask me, Ray.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Neither one has been setting the world on fire. Norwich has 8 points out of the last 15. United 7 out of 15. United should start getting the manager bounce. I don't think they're really trying too hard for Ole. Ray wanted him fired. I think United gets a pretty easy win, actually.
All right. Go ahead and keep going, Tony. Burnley at home to West Ham.
I think it's going to be a walk in the park for West Ham. They can close in on Chelsea. Kind of try to seal up the top 4 spot there.
All right, this is my upset pick. I'm going to go with Burnley to upset West Ham. I think the highs from West Ham beating Chelsea, they're going to feel a bounce maybe from that. And Burnley's always a tough place to go to. So that is my upset pick, Gary.
It's funny. I was looking at that. The next match is being the upset pick. But do I go with you or do I? Yeah. West Ham played this week, right? How did they do?
They put a lot of kids out and they lost
Yeah, we
1-0.
put a lot of kids out. To be honest, they've had a few injuries now, especially the centre back.
We've got 2 centre backs left.
Yeah. So, this actually could be a good one. Burnley could try to outmuscle them. I don't know if they'll be able to. And they're playing at home. I'm gonna. Oof. I say I was looking at this one, and then you picked it. So now I'm like, do I follow suit with you?
I feel like I'm living rent free already.
You are. No matter what I do, I could be in trouble, because that's actually that's a big point difference there.
Yeah, you're 8 points behind.
Yeah. Another one isn't as big. I mean, it's.
Well, you could get past Tony.
Newcastle.
I still have a game in hand.
Leicester City. I'm going to go with it. Why not? Yeah, I'll go with it. Yeah, like you said, I think the Heights. I think they might be looking ahead to the next match, and I think, like you said, they had a really high the last match.
Mm-hmm.
They are. Their center back pairing is going to be a new one.
And we play them next, so we're going to give them the gift after they get defeated.
So there you go. So that's basically the way the script goes. They have a bit of a dip in form, and then they play Arsenal next. So
one good thing looking ahead to West Ham, Gary, they will play on the Sunday, and we've played on the Saturday. We'll have one extra day's rest.
It means it's meant absolutely nothing. Yeah. Teams have played midweek against us and come in and still beat us. So it means have we beaten a team that's played a midweek game?
Maybe Tottenham.
Did they play midweek that week? I don't even know, but yeah, no, I am. So I'm going to go with that game out of there, even though you got there first.
What channel, Tony?
Our new mascot.
Who's the new mascot?
You don't remember our new mascot? You don't remember Rainbow Ray?
That's not endorsed by me.
That's your name, though, Ray. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just the way it works.
Who else is Rainbow Ray? Come on. Is that not Rainbow Ray?
All right, moving on here. Brownie, Burnley at home to West Ham.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Burnley's form because I know they lost to Newcastle last time out, and but to be honest, they deserved much better. But the previous previous 3 games, they drew with Chelsea, drew with Palace, and drew with Wolves. So I'm going to go for another draw.
All right, and that would be an upset. There's 14 points in there. Gary, you took the bait. You did the right thing, I think.
I was torn between the two, but I can't let you get ahead by that many points.
What was the other one you were looking at?
I was looking at the next one. So
Leicester, yeah. Newcastle.
I think Newcastle is a decent team and isn't probably going to go relegation if they continue the way they're playing. So,
you think they're going to get out of trouble?
Yeah, they
only have to get about a few points above.
They're 1 win away from being at least tied with Watford and maybe
Yeah, but the next 2 games after this one, they've got real hard December.
No, I know, but I kind of feel like you've got a lot of teams ahead of them that are like, if we were to beat Southampton, right? So I think I think there are teams. They seem to me like they're being coached better now than they were in the past, and it's going to take a bit of time for him to get the team to play the way he wants.
Hmm.
Right. So I think with that in mind, I think they're gonna. I mean, they haven't lost in one game. They've lost once in the last five. Right. So
I
and
think he'll beat
what
Leicester.
Watford's lost four in the last five. So if you go by
Well, they
that,
only have 7 points out of 15, Gary.
yeah, but
There it is relegation. It is the relegation.
Watford's had 3 out of 15. So I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all.
that's what you get from relegation
Yeah.
standard teams. Tony, what do you think? Leicester at home to Newcastle.
I think it's going to be tight. I almost want to go for a draw, but I think Leicester ends up making it 2-1.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers. What's going on there, Brownie? What do you think?
I watched him. I watched him tonight against Napoli, and I don't know if you guys hear, but 600 Leicester supporters were all bussed from their base to the stadium, and the buses in which took them a long way and the wrong way. And 600 Leicester supporters actually got into the stadium more than half an hour after kickoff. Yeah, we've had horrendous result tonight because they didn't qualify from the group.
Oh, are they out of Europe?
Something tells me that Brendan Rodgers may not have long left in his job.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's something brewing at Leicester, and it's not a nice, not a nice combination. Just looking at social media regarding not just tonight's game, but leading. Did I?
Yeah, you did. Keep going. You saw crap. What's going on with the camera as well?
Did he go puff and then just turn into smoke? Is that what happened?
I thought I was watching Pornhub or something, man.
Plumber's powering.
Yeah, so I fancy
Hold my cigarette.
this is going to be my upset. Newcastle are going to go over and turn them over. If they do, I can see the Brendan out campaign at Leicester starting to gain momentum.
Maybe Rodgers had his turn, says Ray Anderson. Gary, a situation where they win the FA Cup, we're looking enviously at them because they have an owner who's involved in the team. But I think they didn't start the league in the right way. They were still celebrating that FA Cup a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think you saw the way that they've been ending the season, right?
Yes,
I think it's just like
last
you said.
2 seasons.
Yeah, and I think now it's trickled into where they haven't been able to. Now it's just going to come anytime, right? They haven't won in the last.
You've got the Arsenal disease.
Yeah. So I think Newcastle could surprise them for sure.
Many players are getting injured there, says Ray Anderson. Istanbul says, is it possible physical fitness players get to a point where a tackle is made, the body can't handle the pressure?
And you know what? Some of these teams are not built to play in Europe, right? They're not set up to play in Europe.
The squad.
I mean,
West Ham are starting to feel it.
You need to have a big squad to compete, and either have the monies to go out there and spend or have some good luck. And you have to be able to go. You should be able to. You need to have 11 players on your bench that you can feel comfortable playing, right? Almost 11, because that way you can replace anybody you need to. And those teams can't do that because it costs a lot of money to have a good bench where you can say every position is solid, or I've got players that can play multiple spots and play them decently, right? So So I think, and that's another thing that's kind of, it shouldn't be that way. right? It shouldn't be that way. That you play for Europe and you get into Europe and then you get punished for it
But
because you
what
just
used to happen in La Liga, I don't know if it happens now, but they La Liga representatives or officials used to try and help their clubs as much as possible. So, for example, if Real Madrid or Barcelona had Champions League game on a Wednesday, uh, their game the previous Saturday would be postponed.
Yeah.
So that they would help them like that. With Leicester, I mean, they didn't. They had quite a tough group, in Europe. Um,
Mhm.
I still thought they would have got through it. Brendan Rodgers, just look now. Brendan Rodgers is currently 10-1 to be next manager out. Rafa Benitez is favourite, but I think Rafa Benitez can turn it
We've
around.
helped them.
I, I,
Okay.
I don't know. There's something not right at Leicester, and as someone in the chat said, injuries. They got a lot of injuries. We're
Mm.
coming into a Christmas period now where you need as many fit players as possible, and we'll see.
We'll see what happens. Brownie, I know it's we go another 15 minutes here. I know it's been late there for you, so thanks for hanging in there.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. But many thanks for having me on, and I hope everyone in the chat is good as well. And uh, if I don't speak to you all, have a good Christmas.
Also, a photo of Ray hit the air brakes.
No, those two got mixed up. I have a photo of Gary after the game. Is what I meant to say. Then I said Ray hit my air brakes. Is what I meant
Well,
to do.
after this tomorrow, now I'm going to make it my duty to watch that film Airplane. I'm
Yeah,
going to
the
make it
movie.
my
Yeah,
duty.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you have to, you should.
Yeah.
Gary, Brighton at home to Tottenham. Just two more to do, and then we'll get into the Arsenal game real quickly.
Well, that game might be canceled, right? So,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
or you know, it
What?
actually says canceled on here because
Listen, is that fair?
no,
No. Okay.
they're the only team I think is it the only team that didn't get to play because they had COVID, and supposedly the rules have changed and that's why they're allowed to cancel it now. But I mean, supposedly they're supposed to treat it like injuries. Like if they got food sickness and 8 players were out with food sickness, would they cancel the game?
Yeah.
They would cancel the game if they all got food if they got food poisoning.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
So
of lasagna cake.
no, but you know what I mean. Like so, like it's. I think it's something you're just gonna have to
That's
deal
how we
with. And
got fourth place one year, Gary.
History
You weren't
lesson.
watching us back then.
Yeah,
We got fourth place.
yeah, no, I probably wasn't. But like I think to say that it's considered an injury, and you just deal with it like you would any other scenario where you have a lot of players out, and then to change it, I think it punishes. You're punishing the teams, and the fact that I don't think that the teams as a whole are not against it, or at least a large percentage of them. It's kind of sad because it's punishing your teams, right? We started off the season because of TV, not because when we should have
Yeah.
we should have got that game postponed.
Yeah.
Right.
Um.
And it wasn't even, and it was right. It was the day of. It wasn't even like they had it. It wasn't even like days before. It was like the day of the game. All right, you know what, these guys aren't playing. What? That I think that you're punishing teams like that. I can understand if they got injured and they were out, but this is like the league saying, you know what, these guys can't play either tomorrow or in a couple of hours. I can't remember what it was, but it was short notice.
Yeah.
They're gonna,
It's a squad game at the end of the day. It's a squad game.
Yeah.
And it's. Someone mentioned earlier on, with Harry Kane, are the FA protecting Harry Kane? You do have to wonder whether or not some of his decisions there's an agenda, there's a certain agenda behind it.
Well, what happens when they do start putting those games back in, and then
Yeah.
they push their weekend games out to Monday for some weird reason, all right? Because they could do that if they wanted to, and I don't like it because it just sets a bad precedence that just let the rules let play the teams knew going in how the season was going to be run, leave it
Yeah.
as that, and then let them play to those rules, right? It's like saying VAR is going to look at a particular rule, but you know what, oh, we messed up, so now we're
And,
going to
and,
change
and
it
what's to say,
mid-season.
Gary? For whatever reason, uh, you know, a team in the future say, "All right, sorry, we got 10 players with COVID because because they had other injuries where they wanted to cover up, uh, so they wanted to save their player. You don't know so much money in this now. It can be used to the detriment of a game further down the line.
The only other thing for sure, it means that Tottenham's fixture schedule will compress them a little bit. They're going to be in Europe. They'll have to reschedule these games. They'll have to play them. So, in some ways, I would rather have the games played and not have fixture congestion later in the season. Um, Tony, we're going to go to the last game, Crystal Palace Everton.
Crystal Palace.
Patrick Vieira will get the win that Arsenal didn't against Rafa Benitez Everton.
Yep.
Gary?
At all places, Southhurst Park, right?
Selhurst Park. It's never going to let me forget that one, Gary.
Ugh. It's like, I guess, yeah. Let's just go with the upset. Yeah, let's go with the
Yeah,
upset.
it's for 2 points, but yeah, Spurs is probably out of the conference league, says Ray Anderson. So yeah, even so, I mean,
Who gives a shit?
yeah, the dogs do. That's all.
I mean, it kind of helps them out because they know where they stand. Where other teams, right now, they've got two games in hand and they're in fifth place.
Yep.
That's got to be really nice, right?
Yeah, it has.
I want to
Conte's
hear Brownie's thought on the Europa Conference League.
Hey, I'd love to be in any bloody European. I miss the days of Cardiff being in Europe, but
yeah.
yeah,
Crystal Palace Everton, Brownie.
a draw. I'm gonna go for.
All right.
I'm gonna go for a draw.
All right.
Um,
Let's dive into the Arsenal real quick for about 10 minutes, and we'll get out of here. We're not going to preview the Southampton game too much. Brownie, you want to start off?
yeah,
Arsenal at home to Southampton.
Southampton are really
two
struggling.
losses, 2 losses in a row, and there's going to be a 40-year-old Willie Caballero in goal for Southampton.
They're really struggling at the moment, aren't they? If Arsenal don't take 3 points here, then then I can see Arsenal social media really kicking off from the moment the final whistle is blown. So I can only see an Arsenal win.
Yeah, I agree with you. I only see an Arsenal win. I think Aubameyang comes back into the lineup, unfortunately.
No.
But I do see Partey maybe being spared and maybe a spot for Lakonga alongside Xhaka. Dare I say
It's
it?
at Arsenal as
Oh.
well, isn't it? It's at Arsenal as well.
It's
So
at Arsenal. It's home. These two away games were a big test for us, and we failed miserably at Old Trafford and at Goodison Park. You play two games, you can get 6 points, you can get 4 points, you can get 3 points, you can get 2 points, you can get 1 point, or you can get zero. We got zero, Tony.
What was
Well,
your point there, right?
the last time
Go ahead,
Southampton
Gary. You
played,
want to jump in?
Simple math? Was that your
Sorry.
point?
I was just gonna say we had 3 away games and we've gotten 0 points in all 3 of them.
the last time Southampton played away, I think they were away to Norwich and they lost that. So their away record isn't that good.
Yeah. They had a good result up in Man City. They held them to a draw earlier in the season, but apart from that, they've had tricky away days. Should I go back to Tony or Gary? Tony,
Uh,
or else he yells at me.
Brownie was saying how they're off form. They have 5 points out of their last 15. We have 6 points out of the last 15 possible points. Both teams have been struggling. We've been playing a little bit harder teams, but still not doing enough. Should have more points. Arsenal should win. Are we to play scared like we did against Everton? Comparing many players saying we played scared. I hear things like out of Odegaard saying the team needs to change their mentality. So
Players,
hopefully the players kind of have their own meeting, get together, and teams get back to form. I'm kind of wanting to agree with Ray there, 2-1.
mm,
I want to say 3-1. I've been optimistic. I had us getting 13 out of 15 points.
mm.
Yeah, kind of losing faith in the players and the managers now. I think things could turn very ugly before Boxing Day. I said last week's game
Here's
was a must win, so this is a definitely must win game for us.
Yep. I've sort of set checkpoints in the season, and I want to be on, I think, 35 points by the end of the year. That's in the next 5 games. We need to pick up about 12 points, approximately 12 points from
So
these
4 wins out of 5, right? Are we to
four
do?
wins out of five, exactly. Uh, Gary, I see this much like the Newcastle game. We have been beaten. We're going to come back home. We struggled a little bit against Newcastle. Now, in the end, it was two pieces of brilliance from two great players. We don't we don't routinely beat teams. It's going to take something special to beat Southampton, but I think we can do it.
Yeah, I mean they're poor on the road, right? I mean we should be able to come out there and smack them in the mouth and be upset the way we
Yeah, but
lost
we always
three.
struggle against them for some reason.
You want to talk or you want me to talk?
They're one of our bogey teams. I want both, Gary.
I see, I see. No, I mean, it's a must win. The players need to come out with some sort of sense of urgency.
Uh,
They need to come out with some fire. They need to come out with the intent to go out and take this game and take it by the, as they say, take it by the horns and run away with this thing early and let some people come in and have some fun as well. This should be a fun match to come in and take over. They should whatever Southampton thinks they can do is not going to happen. That's the way the mentality should be. It should be a 3-0 win, but I see that 2-1 with maybe a goal late just because we're.
yeah,
But the players should play much. They should play like they played against Leicester City and like they played against
should be. It should be like the
the Spurs,
Southampton
right? Right?
of
Should be.
last season. It should be like the Southampton of last season.
Well, yeah. Last season is one thing, but this season we need to play like we played against like Leicester City and Spurs, and how we dominated those games for large for early sections of the game. We just need to be able to play 90 minutes at that same level.
Mm,
It shouldn't even be close.
yeah,
Shouldn't
and
be
we
close at all.
we should routinely we should get some garbage goals. If you're a good team puts away a bad team in the Premier League, we need to get some garbage goals. Brownie, near enough to the last word here. We'll go around and give everyone the final word, but
Can I
uh,
ask you a question first, guys? Can I ask a
yeah,
question first?
yeah.
There's rumours that Balogun may be coming to Cardiff on loan, or certainly if there's free
I
championship
think
He's definitely
players.
going out on loan.
I would.
We,
I was looking at the championship. I was thinking maybe QPR has the profile for Balogun because
Uh,
they've.
we're saying Middlesbrough are offering the best deal, but it's
It's got.
definitely championship. Cardiff
It's
are
got to
there.
be. It's got to be a championship team who's going to give them some minutes, and it's got to be fighting for promotion.
Do you think he'll do well at the champ? I don't really know much about him, if I'm honest
Yeah,
with you. Do you think
yeah.
he,
He'll
do you think
he'll
he's
score.
got the physique really for the
Yes,
championship? But,
yes.
You know what he
he's been
needs
setting
to.
under
He'll need it.
23%
because
fire, so
Nketiah couldn't handle the championship when he went to Leeds on loan.
Balogun's better. From what I've
Okay.
seen of Balogun, I believe he's better than Kedia.
he should have been sold 2.5 years ago,
Tony,
Brownie, but he's still at the club.
Tony, you think he'll do well in the championship? I think he needs to do it. this is
I
his
think he
next
will.
step
He's been doing great in the under
on the 23s.
23s. I think it's right now where he should be. He should have been loaned before the season started. He should have been at the club
He'll,
right now. Eddie should have been sold.
yeah,
Should have had another young
Brownie,
striker in.
I think he'll need 2 or 3 games to just adapt to the different physicality
Yeah.
because now he's going to be going up against professional, seasoned professional players, not 23s. He's going to be
He's
coming
a,
up against 32-year-olds who've been in the game and they know how to put one on a player. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I think he's a stout player. I think
Well,
he's ready
or
to
let's just
replace.
say you're saying it will probably teach him to become a man from a boy, because at the moment with Cardiff we've got a good group of under 23s who just come into the senior squad. So age wise, he'll have a lot of players same age, same kind of mentality as him.
So does Cardiff have some professional, experienced players that can guide
Yeah,
him as well?
yeah.
Okay, and
They
if
got a good mixture at the moment. I tell you what,
I
and if Arsenal come sniffing round Cardiff youngsters like they did with Aaron Ramsey, I will not be happy with you lot. I tell you, I will not be happy with you lot, because
nice.
we got one or two,
Yeah.
which I'm convinced, having seen Ramsey, breaking out the Cardiff, I'm convinced some of them are better than what he was at that age.
Mm-hmm. December asks if Arsenal lose to Southampton, do you think the board will come out publicly and support the manager and players? The board will say nothing. It'll be tumbleweed in the desert. It'll be cockroaches. It'll be quiet. Ray says drop Partey, Xhaka, and Alba. Sambi and Ainsley Maitland-Niles in the middle. If Nelly and Emil Smith-Rowe isn't fit, start Pepe on the left. Gary, your final word. I'll give Tony the last word tonight.
All right, perfect. Nah, Arsenal, they need to win this match. That's all. Doesn't and they need to win it convincingly. They've had. I know that it's been a short week for them. I don't care. I don't care. They've gotten more rest than a lot of the other teams that have played, so they need to come out and play a lot better. Aubameyang plays.
Aubameyang, Xhaka, and Partey. I think you're going to see maybe 2 out of those 3 assembled.
Yeah. I mean, it's who he puts out there, and he's going to live and die by certain players, and those are the ones. I think it's going to be. They're going to make it tough when they don't have to. They're going to. Hopefully, they can make their shots. I saw. Was it Reece Nelson scored today? So on a positive note, look, Arsenal players on loan are doing well. So, it's time to go.
Time wasted again. Your time wasted again.
Oh no, I brought up this point, so I apologize for that.
No.
Sorry,
So Arsenal needs to win. That's all. Yeah, if they lose, Arteta should be one either. He should be upset and he should be fearful that he loses his job.
Ooh, 3 in a row, he loses his job.
Four out of 5, he should.
Yeah. That's not good. That's not good reading. Gary, of course, I was just joking when I did time wasting. Tony's been on fire. He's going to get the last say. Brownie, thanks for joining tonight. Good having you on.
No worries. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I
Even
need my bed.
Even though Gary said I should cut your feed.
No, I just I cut his video streaming privileges because you don't want his videos anywhere near your channel.
No.
What?
You are a little controversial, Brownie.
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anymore.
He might have some
my ears are still dirty from what I heard. I need to clean them out.
What is he doing over there?
No,
Brownie?
that's not.
Speaking,
All right.
That's not.
Speaking of dirty,
I did not bring up these conversations. The chat brought it up, and I could sense Gary's disgust, even just reading his comments. I could sense it.
Ray, you don't
All
want
right.
to. You don't want to know.
Don't. Usually you promote people's channels, but don't go see Brownie's
Oh, I
channel.
didn't say that. I just said, you know what? Just take a bath afterwards. You'll feel okay. All right.
I know another one.
Uh,
Tybee he was in a chat. He's
he
normally
said
the
hi.
main instigator.
Yeah, he's the main instigator. Yeah. Listen, we're all going to mute ourselves. The star of the show tonight has been Tony. You
Yeah.
win the Tony down one tonight, Tony, and whatever you're drinking, keep doing that as long as it's safe to do so.
It's coffee.
I don't think so. I think there's a little
Coffee.
bit something else going
If
on
you
there.
lose,
Nope.
if you lose three in a row, Arteta needs to look into himself and resign.
Can I talk now, Gary?
And
No.
I just say one thing: Arteta was fuming. Arteta was fuming on Monday. So
Cheers, Ray. Cheers, Ray Anderson. Much
yeah,
apprecited.
you don't know what you're getting yourself into, Ray Anderson. but
Yeah,
good
you
luck.
don't know where you're going yourself.
All right, Tony, go ahead.
My turn now.
Yep.
Before I get to my final words, I have two questions for Brownie there. One, we're speaking of dirty. So, are you joining me and Sam tomorrow night?
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I got no problem with no worries at all, mate. No worries at all. Um, yeah, good job you reminded
What
me.
time
Actually,
is it? What time is it,
10,
at,
10
Tony?
o'clock. Yeah.
10 UK.
Are
This
you
time.
sure? You what time? 10 what
10,
UK?
10. It's
What
definitely
time
10
zone?
this time.
What time zone?
UK, London time zone.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
my other
Definitely.
one, I was asking why the sudden change from Cardiff from last season to this season.
Why was sun changed?
Yep, why the sudden decline?
Um, they got rid of most of the. They got rid of a lot of the players actually. A lot of players were on loan, like Harry Wilson. He then went. He was on loan from Liverpool, got transferred.
Yeah.
A lot of loan players didn't stay. They got a lot of. They lost the parachute payment. The parachute payments come to an end in the summer, so they lost 25 million. So they needed to fill that really with cutting down on the playing budget, and as a result, that's affected the performances. That's why, as I mentioned earlier, the plan now is to bring in, forget about transfers and bring in a conveyor belt of under 23s into it. And in all fairness, they it's going well. And what they've done now, they've promoted the under 23 manager to full team manager, got rid of McCarthy. So the guy who's helped these youngsters progress through the youth ranks is now there in the full team, and he's making that transition with them as well. So yeah, but I'm quite excited actually. I'm quite excited, but it will all take time. But I haven't seen a generation of youngsters like this since since Aaron Ramsey's day.
Okay, now I'm ready for my final thoughts, Ray.
Go for it.
So, this time last year, sitting in the hospital, besides greatly missing my grandmother, I missed you guys. I missed the guys on the panel. I missed the guys in the comments. And it sucks being sitting there at the hospital. I was like, damn, I wish I could jump on the show. Even though I got teased for doing a show from the bed before I went to the hospital.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on with you at the time.
You
know?
kind of do.
No.
I
No.
kept telling you I had a foot infection. Nobody paid attention.
Yeah, we kept telling you to take care of it, So
I was trying to.
we were trying to. Yeah.
Can I go now? Can I go now?
Yeah.
Bye, Brownie.
Okay,
See you tomorrow.
guys.
Are you going to
guys,
sleep?
honestly,
What time
Right,
is it there?
no.
Are you going to
it's
sleep?
4:30 already. It's 4:30. But listen, guys in the chat and yourselves, if I don't speak to you, have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year, and And yeah, good luck with the future for the channel. And
You can't stay
speak to you
away
soon, yeah?
from the chat room, Brownie. You'll be around.
I know. I can't stay away from you, Tony. That's a problem. That's a problem with my
It's
life.
because I wear Adidas stuff. Look,
I know. I seen the Adidas. Yeah, I did see the Adidas. But listen, I gotta go. I want sleep, man. But
Thanks, Brownie.
hasta luego.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Yeah, Tony.
what?
You wanted to
You
finish what you had
tell
to
us
say,
about
Doug?
how you missed us.
Yeah, I just
How much
miss
you
you
loved
guys.
us.
Yeah, you should never take your health for granted. You never know what's to happen. Like in May of this year, I get bit by a spider. My hand ends up the size of my head. Just you never know what's to happen. Been battling my health all year. Mood wise, I'm great, feeling great. But
Yeah,
like I said, most of all, I just missed you guys.
yeah. And look, I think I can speak for Gary when we hear things like that. It really makes us emotional and feel good about that. That you're in a good place and just coming on with us twice a week, 3 times a week
Yeah.
helps as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I can do a lot of other things in 7 hours that we spend.
yeah, I think we all could do a lot of things, right,
Yeah,
Gary?
yeah, there is, but I like doing, like you said, I like doing this.
I don't know how
And
Gary keeps out of trouble with the boss.
well, I think I kicked out of the room today, so I don't know. We'll see.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm in my office, which is the room.
You might be
but,
sleeping down there with the dog.
yeah. No, she likes. You know what? You have to do what makes you smile, right? And this makes me smile, and I'm happy doing it.
And I think that's important as well, Gary, to say
Yeah.
like all of us that do podcasts, it's our hobby, and there's someone in your life that's allowing you to have that freedom to do that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's definitely appreciated. I appreciate my wife for doing that as well.
You appreciate her for getting you a Menudo notebook,
That
right?
too. That's a very close second. Yeah, the Menudo thing. But
Have
I
you
was
framed
gonna
it yet? Or you gotta wait until after the season?
frame it at the end of the season because this is going to be the best season ever. Do I bring Stan in or not? God.
Yeah.
We're about to finish, Stan.
Good. I just came to say goodbye.
Where's your buddy Luchador?
Did you hear what Tony was saying there?
No, mate. I just got in. I'm just in.
Yeah. Sort of Tony's coming up on a year from his amputation. He's feeling he's in a good spot and he's appreciative of his fellow podcast members, panelists, and the people in the chat room. So
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
stuff.
So you finished now, then, are you?
Yeah, we were
We
just
can keep
finishing,
going.
but yeah, we could definitely keep going. What's Ray gonna do? Kick us out? Nah, he won't do that. So Stan, talk to me. Tell us something.
I'll sit back and give you guys 5 minutes. Yeah, we're probably gonna do a pregame Ray Anderson on Saturday.
So he left. What happened?
He's chasing the cat.
You know, I might, depending on what's happening, I might have to. I might be on that pregame. I'll probably be remote though. That's all. So you have to deal with that.
One thing I was going to say as well, all three of you here should do another hosting slot. So let's do that Sunday, Thursday, Sunday.
Especially this version of Tony tonight.
Especially this version of Tony. If you haven't seen
Stan, you
Tony
missed out, dude.
tonight,
Stan, you wouldn't have been able to talk today if you were on the show because Tony was it was like the Tony takeover.
Fucking hell.
He was the man of the match. He was the man of the match tonight, Stan.
Basically, every other word was Tony's. I mean,
well, I'm literally just back from Gotham City.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
What's Gotham
stuff.
City?
You know,
The
where
gig
Batman hangs out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I just finished filming on Batwoman.
Wow. You know, my daughter loves that show.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
tell her to look out for me in episode 13.
Episode 13. I'll tell her my friend
Please
is on
remember
there.
that one.
I think it's the season finale.
Yeah.
They have 13 episodes in a season. Just do one more, if you believe in bad luck, right?
Yeah. No, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. Wow. All right. Cool. No, I always get to watch. I watch that with her. So yeah, sometimes. So yeah,
Is it any
definitely.
good? I've never watched it.
I think it's. I mean, she likes it. It's not a show I watch, but yeah. So Stan, at least tell us about Arsenal Monday and Arsenal Saturday.
Well, I mean, we ain't got strikers, have we? It doesn't seem to matter who we play. They don't really seem to. They don't really seem to get a sniff. So obviously, I think it's a combination of the quality that we have up front and what they're being asked to do and the lack of chances. I don't think the blame can be laid squarely at one place, but I think combined, the manager and his team and the players, they're all in this together. You know, it's not one or the other. I think it's a combination. But you know, I haven't watched the show. But if you've been talking about, you know, who's going to be the next manager and all of that, I just think it's a moot point.
We haven't gotten to that point. No,
He's not going anywhere. I think the target still has to be Europa League. Has to be the minimum requirement, and I mean the Europa League proper, not that the Mickey Mouse competition. The other one.
You saw what happened today, right?
Not the Conference League.
You saw what happened today. A dog showed up on the pitch and dropped a couple of logs and then ran off.
Where was that?
I think they said
Eastern European.
Yeah. The dog just got on. The dog was on the pitch and just said, "You know what? I got to go," and he went.
We got to go.
December. I'm confident we can improve on eighth position. Yeah. I'm confident we can do that. It's going to stay still between fifth and seventh. Anywhere between fifth and seventh, we'll finish.
What happened to Brownie? I thought he was on with you. Did you kick him off?
Yeah, he got tired. And
he's still in the chats though. So
it was 4:30.
He's sleeping, Stan. He's sleeping. That's someone else.
Sleep typing.
Yeah, no, he joined us, and it's probably time to get
Mrs. Putin is on. They're gonna invade partisan Belgrade next, Mrs. Putin.
Yeah.
He's just planning his move to Dubai.
That's right.
Stan, we didn't talk about the next manager. It's too early to do that. I believe it's a combination of the manager and the players that are deficient. There's no blame, like you said. You can't blame one or the other, and we have a problem at striking position.
Yeah,
a huge problem, right? Our goals coming from everywhere else but the striker position.
And if you go into a game with three players, one that can't last a full 90, which is Lacazette, one that's coming back that's just like walked into the team miraculously from 2 months out, Xhaka, and you got Kieran Tierney, who'd been out for a while. It's pretty obvious that he's showing his hand to the opposition of where his substitutions are going to be before there's even a kickoff.
Yeah.
So,
well, saying that, Granit Xhaka stayed on the field for 90 minutes, right?
Yeah, because Martinelli kind of messed it up by having to come off. But I mean, I don't know.
I mean, the one person that probably should have come off definitely was Xhaka, though. I mean, if you're looking out for the welfare of your players, somebody comes off of that knee injury, doesn't really get much games, and all of a sudden is going to play 90 minutes in that particular game, probably should have been the first one off.
Well, I don't know how these players are mentally and physically fatigued because they've literally been playing one game a week.
You know what it is? It's sometimes it's like you get lulled into a sense of like complacency when you don't play multiple games a week like other teams, right?
What you hear from the players is that they're scared. We heard it again this week.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Erdogan said, when they went up 1-0, they just stopped playing the way they were playing before, and it's like that mentality's got some, and nobody's able to get the team to forget about the fact that they're up 1-0 and that they can lose a lead. No, guess what you can do? You can extend the lead. They're looking at the
Liverpool.
negatives all the time, not looking at the positives, right? The positive is you
Liverpool.
might be able to go up a second goal.
Liverpool play that way. They get 1 goal, they want 2. They get 2 goals, they want 3, and so on and so on. And I think Preston play. Most teams do have psychologists.
Well, I mean,
I would be surprised if Arsenal did not have.
but if you play the match that is 0-0, it's 0-0 the whole time, you're gonna try and get a goal every time, right? Because you want to try to win, right? I mean, I was looking at I was looking at like the stats to see how saying how do we win? How do we ever win halves? And like probably the last 5 matches, we might have won a half one time, I think, maybe twice. Otherwise we've just been punished.
Yeah, we haven't won a half yet. 2 halves consecutively.
2 halves and not. We won. You know what? 2 halves. We have won 2 halves. We won it. I think one time we've done it in the season. We've done it one time.
Season.
Yeah, because I was looking at that stat on one of this. We don't do it too often, but we don't. We barely play 90 minutes, so we're lucky to win a half at all. So.
Samuel says, "Do you think being overconfident is as harmful as suffering a lack of confidence?" I think suffering a lack of confidence is more harmful.
I'd rather be overconfident. Yeah. As a football player, I'd rather feel like I'm because right now, I'd rather be overconfident as far as a football player. I mean, you're out there. They're giving you a shirt. That means somebody must think you're good. So you got to have that mindset that I should be out here and play. If you don't, that's when you play complete. You don't play 100%.
You don't want to hear anybody saying they're playing scared. That just makes no sense.
Let's do this for shits and giggles. Stan, since you're fresh, right? You're the substitute. We've been going for 90 minutes. You're coming in fresh. What team are you picking on Saturday?
For what?
Southampton.
Oh, what team am I going to pick?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
You're the manager now. Come on.
For me,
Arteta's lost his job.
Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Megalegs, Tierney, and
big decision.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles and
Sambi?
Xhaka. I don't know. There's the midfield, isn't it? The midfield's broken. Do you know what I mean? What's the point of picking Thomas Partey? Why should I pick Thomas Partey?
I put Sambi. Pick Sambi.
Yeah, Sambi. I mean, he's not going to pick up front. Doesn't seem to matter who you put up front. He's not going to get any goals.
We're asking you.
Stan, you got lots of problems. You can't fill any holes, man. What's going on?
Do you see Arteta's job's not so easy now?
Well, he bought most of the after players.
Arteta just picked straws to do the lineup, I think, right?
I've got to nip off, lads.
All right.
Something's happening in the background.
This managing job is too difficult. You got to leave already.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
Tell us
Dinner's being dished up and I'm getting shouted at.
Oh, you better go.
Mikel Arteta. All right.
Yeah, no, I see your comment there, the assembled. That they're both bad, but I think I'd rather have my players feel like they're really good and you can bring them back down to earth than try to build them up.
Be cocky than afraid.
Because, you look at it, Guendouzi, right? He's overconfident in his skills. But you need to be able to come and tell him,
he's been one of the best midfielders in France this year.
You don't listen to what I said. You went off on a tangent. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, sorry.
Shh. No, I'm telling Tony.
Oh, I thought you were saying Tony speaking.
Like Mope style. Mope to Guendouzi.
It's Tony's show, right? Tony's show.
Yeah, no. I think Guendouzi is somebody you want to bring. You want somebody like that so you can bring them back to earth. You don't want somebody who's timid out there trying to play because it's hard to give them that confidence anymore,
Gary,
think of you got Guendouzi and you got Pepe.
Pick your lineup here.
Bueno is timid. take
Let's
Rimbo and
pick the
Ramsdale,
lineup.
compare those
Let's
two.
pick the lineup so it's there for Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. For me, it's.
Ramsdale, Tierney. We okay with Tierney?
I think you can go either way. I don't care which way we go.
Either way, that doesn't matter. Yeah, and you were right a few weeks ago. What's your best player? Tierney was the best player.
If Tierney is your number one, you go with him. But
Gabriel White.
you can play both of them if you need to. If
Yeah.
Tierney can't go 90, then you know you've got a solid backup, and Tavage can play on the right side if Tomiyasu needs a break, right? So you're good there.
Press the play said Ray. That's
I'm
starting
afraid we'll
11
see
I would say.
Elneny and
I think-
Zaka.
I think we're gonna. Oh, I think he's saying Ray Anderson. So I always get confused when people say Ray. I think it's me. But of
No,
course,
nobody, no, they don't even know
Call
you're.
you
They,
Rainbow Ray.
nobody
Rainbow
listens
Ray.
to you, Ray.
Rainbow Ray.
So this
I
is
like
the
that.
lineup.
I like that midfield. I like that too. The pairing right there in
Sandy
front
and
of.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, I would like to see that more because I think Maitland Niles, like he's playing. He always plays with confidence, and that's I don't. It looks like overconfidence, but he's playing within himself.
Mhm.
He had a
So-
good game. We haven't seen him since, Gary. We'll see Elneny.
Okay,
It's
so
part
you
two.
want to rest? I don't. Jacques is going to play though. Okay, Jacques is going to.
Zaka and Elneny. I'm
Ainsley
predicting.
Maitland-Niles, Granit Xhaka, Erdegaard. What's your front three, Gary?
Okay, Saka should play. And Milner Rose, he's healthy, he's going to play. And I don't want to play Aubameyang. So I'm going to answer that question.
Lacazette.
You think Lacazette's going to play in front of instead of
Oh
Aubameyang?
no, I think Aubameyang's going to play.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to just put Aubameyang in there?
No, that's not even. That's
It's
not
my
even.
show.
That's-
Come on,
You
Gary.
asked the
That's what type
question.
of
I
teams
told
he
you.
scores against.
Yeah. No, I would like to. Like I said, I would like to see the Zombie and Maitland Niles combination.
I think we need to give a chance for Lacazette to start playing with the younger players like he did in the new year, at the beginning of this year. Tony, what would you do? Ainsley Maitland-Niles? I know you'd probably go Sambi,
I'd go with Sambi and
Erdegaard.
no, I'd
Ainsley
go with
Maitland-Niles, Sambi, Erdegaard.
I'd go with Niles, but Arteta seems to hate the kid for whatever reason. He has a good game, then he goes
Look at this.
on
Theo-
sabbatical, I guess.
Theo Walcott could score again. He scored the opposing fixture last year.
So yeah. So what former Arsenal player that we've played hasn't actually played decent, good against us? Like they've all actually played decent, not like lights
Oxlade,
out or anything
Chamberlain.
like that. But they've all played. He played actually okay.
Yeah, he played okay. I'm struggling. Hey, should we leave it there?
Yep. We do want free Saliba. Bring him back. Yeah.
Our strikers are like
I
box of
can
red
name a
matches.
player.
All right, Tony. Let's leave it there. Huh?
You know, they let me name him. Who did you want to keep this summer?
Me? Willock. I wanted to keep Willock.
Yeah.
Is that where you're driving at?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gary.
Let's
No,
land
no,
this
it's-
fucker, Ray.
Go on.
I think
It's
we
3
just
hours.
I just think we needed to bring in a striker. That's all. And we needed to do whatever we could to get rid of Eddie and Lacazette if we were going to do that.
Would you? One last question then. Would you go all out to get a striker in January, or would you wait to get the right striker at the summer?
We need two anyway, so it doesn't matter. So
Okay.
either, and I mean two, in the sense that if Balogun's if they can't find a right place for Balogun, then they need to bring him in. Otherwise, they go out there and find another one. I mean, even if it's like an older striker that really has a little bit more consistency into their game, but we need to do something because we're not. We need an answer up there.
Hmm.
And I think that's going to be a problem all season. Like we need an answer either as a cam or a striker or a CDM.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what. If we get one of them, that's just going to have to be one is fine because it's really tough to get even even to probably get even one. But if you can find one in
Remember,
those
the
three
World
spots,
Cup starts in 9 months after the window closes. Players are going to be wanting playing time.
and
Ray said yes, we should get a striker in January 24 to 26 age group, and that's the kind of profile we're looking for. Maybe 23, 24, something like that. Something that's going to age with the young players. Assemble what decent striker will come to Arsenal. Good question. I don't have all the answers.
like you said, we got we got
DCL.
a Aubameyang to come to our team. So
Yeah,
We got plenty
DCL's
of
good.
playing time to offer any striker.
Somebody also mentioned Richarlison possibly as well, and that's a player we wouldn't mind having either. And he's got a will to win, Richarlison. We saw his reaction, um, his reaction in the game, both going behind and getting his team back in there. Tony, you get the final word once again for the second time.
For the second time?
For the second time. Tony, do you want to host the show one of these days?
Sure, why not?
I think it'd be good. We just need the right formation, the right lineup to go with
Right
you.
lineup.
Final word.
Final word about striker or final word about anything?
Well, within reason, anything. Come on.
Like
Blow
I
the
said,
whistle.
just enjoy life. Don't take anything for granted. You know what Gary's handle means.
Yeah.
Just go out there and live life to the fullest. Call, check on your family. Always make sure you're available. You know, I had a crazy week last week. Kind of Ray and Gary know some of the things they can't really share, but just things happen. Make sure you make time for your friends and loved ones. Answer their call. You're never too busy. It doesn't take that long to pick up, say, hey, what do you need? Just pick up, make the time, check on somebody if you haven't heard from them for a while.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, that's something that you should do throughout the year, but especially this time of the season. I just want to reiterate Tony did say don't take anything for granted, not granted. Although Tony would have taken anything for granted at the end of the summer.
I would have took 40 million euros two years ago, but hey.
Presto Play said, I'll take fresh air instead of granted. Presto, we couldn't get him as Arsenal rated and catch you later. Listen, I think we ran overtime tonight. I think we were playing with a 1-0 lead and we started wasting time.
I got on to Gary early for wasting time.
We started slowing the game down.
Bad Gary.
He started taking his time, throwing the ball in, all that stuff. But anyway,
Gary, is there Peloton ride?
Gary's got to go to Peloton and Woolwich.
Peloton.
Take care, everyone.
Peloton, Ray.
Say good night, Tony. We're out of
Good
here.
night, Tony.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Time to land this thing.